here we are. Fontecchio was the first domino to fall. We thought it was going to be somebody else. Some of us didn't see Fontecchio getting traded. Some of us thought that he was going to be part of a bigger deal, not just one that saw him get slid and thrown down the train tracks for minute flexibility, But here we are. Here we are. It's okay though. Got my blanket on me, keep me locked in. What's good, Jackson? This was interesting, put mildly. Didn't see this coming at all. Not this particular trade specifically. I thought we were probably going to send Fontecchio to a team that probably could have used him more immediately, considering he is 28 years old. But I didn't want them to trade Fontecchio. I'll be the first one to say that. And if obviously he has value, right? 39% from deep, tough to beat. But on the same side of that, on the other side of that coin, you can't just the Pistons though. That said, we have to give Danny Ainge the opportunity to cook because he's known for doing some very unorthodox things. But ultimately, they've created a contender in Boston, though Boston has not won one yet. They are still a continuous contending standard team, right? That's the expectation for them every year, to be in that conference championship at the very least, if not make the finals. And they've seen the finals twice now since they've been constructed the way that they are. He said, do you think they could have gotten more for him? I would say so. I think there was other teams that maybe there has to be a specific play, because I don't think that Fontecchio, considering the role that he played for us, the number of games he started, the fact that he was so serviceable, was non-problematic, and for the most part was pretty consistent, right? He had some poor shooting nights, but he never shoots 10 shots a game, right? He shoots 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're not going to see him go more than 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 7. You're not going to see him go 2 of 13 from the field. So he's a negligible negative when his shot isn't falling, because he plays good defense. He cleans up the glass pretty decently. He's a strong rebounder for what little that he has to do, because he usually shares the course with John Collins and Lauri Markkanen, who obviously both average borderline 10 boards themselves. He makes the extra pass when he knows he's not hot. Even sometimes when he is hot, he's still willing to give the ball up. He does a lot of things well. So I felt like there should have been a little bit more that we could have got for him. Which makes me think we're making room for something or somebody more specifically. I don't know if it's a trade piece or if it's just as simple as Taylor Hendricks. But if I'm pretty sure you saw my video, I said it's hard to think that Danny Ainge would be so simplistic as to sit there and dish off Fontecchio in favor of a player that's probably not going to be ready. Gabriel Pregida is going to be at least, in my opinion, a good 2 seasons before he's ready. He's shooting 27% from 3 in the EuroLeague right now, right? That's not NBA ready 3-point shooting. The expectation is that he gets a little bit better over there, and then I guess we'll go ahead and accept him over here. We said we did our boy Simone so dirty sending him to the Pistons. The Pistons is a crazy place. Detroit is a crazy place to send a player, a foreigner at that. Maybe somebody that lives in Detroit for real can change my opinion of it, but I just don't think that's a great fit for him and his family. That's another thing. I think a lot of times we get so wrapped up in how does this trade help us? How does it hurt us? Did we get enough back? We don't think about the actual player and they're going to have to live over there now. And for him, he's not from America. His family isn't from America. They're from Italy, right? It's a lot more. I'm not going to say that Utah is extremely similar to Italy, because it's not, but it's definitely more comparable to Italy than Detroit is going to be. It's a lot safer than Detroit's going to be. But yeah, that was an interesting one, Jeff. You said, Mac, wish we could have kept him around, but looking forward to seeing what else shakes out. Hopefully, more PT from Hendricks. That's the expectation. What's up, Jeff? Yes, sir. What's good, Derek? It's ironic to me because we traded one Italian forward for a younger Italian forward. Yeah, and the crazy thing is they list him as a guard. He's 6'7". He from the way he plays, he doesn't give me super guard energy. Um, but either way, the kid has potential. Pretty athletic, pretty long, pretty wide wingspan. I didn't have enough time today to honestly like look over like how he plays defense and what kind of schemes his particular team plays. He plays for a squad in Berlin, in Germany. Berlin's in Germany, right? Yeah, I think. Um, so I didn't get to delve into him the way that I would have loved to, but he does seem promising, right? I'm under the assumption that Kevin Knox is going to get dumped at the end of this season because why would you keep Kevin Knox? No offense to him. When he was on the Knicks, I wasn't a big believer, partially because he was on the Knicks, partially because I just didn't see enough from him to be like, oh, the Knicks suck at developing their players. He's not actually that bad. I think he just didn't live up to the billing that a lot of people hoped he would, and he's destined to be a journeyman, which is fine. I don't mind having him sit there, every now and then when we're in a blowout, let him play 6 to 10 minutes. No complaint out of me. But I don't think he's worth playing more than, Luka Samanic. I'm not going to put him in over Luka, right? Luka got 6 minutes, and everybody had issues with the 6 minutes that he got last game. I'm not putting Kevin Knox in those 6 minutes, that's for sure. But not to sit there and act like I hate Kevin Knox. That's not what this is. I just don't think that he fits very much really what we plan on doing with this team, what we're known to do with this squad, and what our expectations are for the future. So at the end of the season, he's going to be gone, right? Off the books, everything. I was really looking forward to see what that Fontecchio contract would look like, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, here we are. What's good, Tayton? You're still at work, so I'm only half attending right now. No, you're good, bro. You're definitely good. You would put Kevin Knox over Samanic? He said at least Knox knows he sucks. maybe Johnny Uzang gets some burn. Maybe. He's the only person that's outscoring what's his name? Bryce Sensabaugh in the G League for the G League team right now. Actually, side note. G League stats are too hard to find and dig up. That's actually alarming to me. I feel like they should be public knowledge just like NBA stats are. It's the G League. You want those players to get like acknowledged and noticed and respected so it can grow the brand, but neither here nor there. He said, what may have convinced him is the fact that Simone is 28 and Gabriel is 21. Yeah, that's also probably the thing that played into it. And the upside of Gabriel is probably roughly in line with Fontecchio, if not a little bit. Maybe they see a little bit of a higher ceiling there. Do you think the Jazz are playing Kevin Knox? I hope not. I don't. Not that I hate Kevin Knox, right? Again, I don't hate Kevin Knox. I just don't see him changing anything for the lineups. So I'm not. He could change my mind potentially, right? Matter of fact, let's do him his due justice and go on Stats Muse and see what Kevin Knox has been doing lately. Kevin Knox. Not terrible, actually. Overall this season, he's played in 31 games, started in 11, averages 18.1 minutes, 7.2 points, 2.4 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 0.4 steals, 0.2 blocks, 0.7 turnovers, 46.2% from the field, and 33% from three, but 90.9% from the free throw line. On how many attempts of those? Oh, well, in recent games, he's only taken 3 in his last 5. Yeah, he doesn't really take he averages less than a free throw a game. So nothing is jumping off the page at me right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Using actually can shoot. He did do okay last year when we needed him, but his defense was pretty bad. Fair play. More ultra time. Barely watched your news video. Oh no, you're good, Hoopfest. Oh, speaking of which, shout out. Hold on, let me hop in. Let me get into my bag real quick and shout somebody out because somebody deserves a biscuit. By the way, that thumbnail, my usual thumbnail guy was out of it. So, whoo! Ooh, news. So shout out to Flair. I don't think he's in here right now, but shout out to Flair because he definitely made that thumbnail in like all of 7 minutes and sent it to me. So that's why it's not in line with what I usually have it for. Fontecchio was a great fit starting alongside Lowry and either Collins or Kessler. Our three-point shooting wasn't great to begin with, so I'm interested to see if Ainge will trade for a shooter at small forward. Yeah. Or because John Collins' jumper is also off right now. Like overall, his shooting percentage isn't terrible, but he shot enough over the past 10 games. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I did this last year. I counted it up. It was like 32-ish, 33 threes, and he made like 6 of them, which works out to like 18% or something. So he's shooting very bad from 3, but he shot so many across the season when he was hot and when he was productive that is not taking his percentage to make him like terrible, basically. Let's see. I'm excited for tomorrow to see what happens. Yeah, something's going to have to make sense to me. Danny will never make a purchase. He needs to. I don't know what he's about to buy, but he's about to buy something off the rack. Mark my words, Tayton. I don't know what it is. It might be a terrible purchase, but something's happening. So I'm excited. Thoughts on Bruce Brown talks? Let me see. Let me look up Bruce Brown's numbers. I like Bruce Brown in theory, right? Actually, let me pull up his stats to be more specific. He's been to Detroit, he's been to Brooklyn, he's been to Denver, he's been to Indiana, he's been to Toronto now. So in his 33 games with Indiana, right? All 33 of them were starts, 29.7 minutes. Where are we? Where's his points at? Jeez Louise. Okay, 9.4. No, that's the other one. 12.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 0.2 blocks, 1.2 turnovers, right? Shooting 47.5% from the field, 9.5 field goal attempts, only 32.3% from 3, so he's not going to help he wouldn't help our 3-point shooting. Three attempts, by the way, as well. But he is an 81% free throw shooter. Admittedly, only on 2.5 per game. But it's not bad. And then with Toronto, he's played in 9 games, started in 5, 27.1 minutes. He's averaging 9.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1 steal, 0.8 blocks, 1.2 turnovers still, and slightly less personal fouls. Shooting 44.7% from the field on 8.4 field goal attempts and 0.8 for 2.2 from the 3-point line, which is 35%. So from what I remember about Bruce Brown, particularly when he was with Denver more so than more recently when he's been with Indiana, I like what he's capable of doing. I like him in theory. I wouldn't give up a significant amount for him. I would have much rather sent Fontecchio to Toronto, honestly. I think he would have definitely felt more comfortable up there in a Bruce Brown situation than to send him to Detroit. But, neither here nor there, right? We said Super Bowl, who you got? Who's in the Super Bowl again? It's the Chiefs, 49ers. Give me the 49ers. I need the greatest white running back in history to go ahead and get the job done. I'm tired of seeing Mr. Ketchup on his macaroni and cheese eat himself, Patrick Mahomes. I don't. He doesn't need another ring. He doesn't need another ring. Give it to the 49ers. George Kittle, it's time for him to go ahead and remind everybody that he's still the number 1 tight end in the league, right? It's not Travis Kelce. Not because Travis Kelce's bad, but because Travis Kelce can't run block like George Kittle can or pass protect. So call it what you want. I don't care what happens. I got all my trust in Danny. I believe in Danny. I've seen him do it before. I think he can do it again. It just makes sense to me. This trade changes everything for the Jazz. I wouldn't say everything. It does change quite a few things, though. It shows that they're willing to basically like shake a lot up because remember he's been starting. I think he's played in 50 games, started in 34. I'm pretty sure all his 34 starts have been consecutive now because he was starting just before Sexton started starting because Lowry was out before then. So we got to fill that role with something or somebody. Who do you think is the favorite from right now? I would say between the team, because remember, it's only the Lakers and us that put in official offers. I'm going us because the Lakers put theirs in, and everybody said that trade was sitting at a standstill. We haven't heard back about how they feel about our particular deal. I also don't know the exact specifics of who was offered, so that's another thing. But it couldn't have been trash, or else they would have revealed it immediately and been like, yeah, it's at a standstill as well, because they also have the potential of just keeping it, because they've openly said it's 50-50. If we don't get what we want from him, then we're perfectly fine keeping him the rest of this year, and we'll try again next year or whatever. So that's potential. That's potentially possible. So Bruce Brown is dumb. He won a championship and then walked. Like, bro, you don't want to repeat. Bruce Brown left for a bag. That's what it came down to. The money was there for another team. Who did he go to? He went to the Pacers, right? Yeah. So he went from being like the fringe third, fourth option, depending on how you feel about Aaron Gordon, and KCP was on that team, right? I think, yeah. And basically, effectively decided, I want to be a bigger individual. I want to show out on my own. How can I best do that? I think by going to the Pacers, and they also can pay me more money, because remember at the parade, Michael Malone was like, "Hey, we're bringing Bruce back." He was drunk and everything, but he was like, "We're bringing Bruce back. We're gonna get the whole band together." Then Bruce really just signed with the other guys, but it was a money thing more than anything, which I can understand, because as a player, once you get that first ring, if you're a role player, your legacy doesn't really change much, right? Like if you're a LeBron James, a Kevin Durant, a Steph Curry, even a player like a De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, like a ring changes a lot for you specifically. But if you're like a role player, like even Aaron Gordon, right? Who's a role player? Like if Jaime Vasquez was to get one, um, it would be cool, but it's not a needle pusher for him, like to make him to move him in the top 100 players of all time as an all-time great. So I understand if he felt fulfilled and he felt like his job was done and he just wanted to have fun and make some money, that could make sense. Um, I'm just kind of up in the air about it. Someone at Bleacher Report put up a video of Kessler stuffing some of Kessler stuffing a Gabriel drive at the last FIBA tournament, so they're acquainted. Well, that's reassuring. Atlanta, then Lakers, and us. Bang bang Niner game. What's up, James? So we should take on Fontecchio trade. I missed it. Oh no, you're good, bro. Yeah, I posted the video at the last minute because I was running behind, and it took a little bit longer to cut out some of the parts that I thought I was going to do a smooth one take. It ended up not being as smooth as I hoped it would have been. Still not terrible, because I cut it in like 40 minutes, but it wasn't as fast as I hoped. Basically, I understand what this could potentially lead to. I don't think it's as simple a trade as we traded away one of our starters to make minutes for our bench, for our rookie that's been on the bench and been in the G League, Taylor Hendricks, just because he might be ready now. I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a bigger play that's likely to happen, or they're going to try and make happen, and that's why they had to clear up some minutes on the bench. We know Kevin Knox is going to be gone after this season. Gabriel Prigida, he still has a year or two left that in the EuroLeague where he needs to cook a little bit more, get his three-point shooting up, because right now going from shooting 38% in the Italian League, the top league in Italy, to shooting 27% in the Euro League is a rough comparison. Admittedly, it is in 16 minutes, so you could argue, okay, maybe he just doesn't have the level of consistency that's required because they play him spot minutes. I don't know enough to say anything about that either way, but I think that it deserves some thought, if you will. Yeah. Wasn't it weird when KO and Clarkson wouldn't pass to Keontae for weeks and weeks? I saw Kelly Olynyk passing to Clarkson. It wasn't a substantial period of time where I would say Kelly Olynyk preferred not to pass to him. Clarkson prevents, or just doesn't pass a lot. We've seen more recently where randomly in spurts during the third and fourth quarters in particular, he's more liable to throw lobs or dump off passes when he gets downhill and realizes he's stuck. But by and large, he's not really one to defer even when he is getting strapped up by somebody, which is the biggest concern because that's part of the reason why he has games where he has so many games where he goes for 4 and 5 turnovers, right? It's wild. Ring over money. Hey, he could sell his ring for millions. I mean, his ring specifically probably wouldn't be worth millions, but it'd definitely be worth a pretty penny, that's for sure. Logic, what's good, my guy? Do you feel like Kessler dropped off since rookie season? I would say no. The role and what we needed him to do kind of changed because we effectively can't just get rid of John Collins, but John Collins can shoot really well, or he could shoot really well previously. He has a more reliable stroke, and people are willing to contest his shots. With that being said, it just made the most sense that we were. There was a Pistons fan that commented on the video. He said, "As a Pistons fan, Kevin Knox is actually really solid. He looks really different than how he used to be. So maybe he gets an opportunity. Maybe there's a little bit more than meets the eye. But I wouldn't say Kessler dropped off since rookie season. I would say that the opportunities that were left available to him have slightly changed with the introduction of John Collins. The fact that he can shoot and Walker really hasn't shown his stroke to be hitting. I thought his stroke was going to be hitting at the very least from the free throw line this season, and him taking like borderline 1.7, 1.8 ish free throws a game and shooting 48, 49% on them is not a good sign. Which is probably my biggest gripe with him. He needs to become a better shooter. But defensively, he's right where he was before, if not a little bit better. His feet positioning on the perimeter, he doesn't get cooked very often. He's not super foul prone still. He rebounds well. And when he gets into his aggressive spurts, he's really a force to be reckoned with around the rim. When he doesn't, though, he's likely to go into creative mode and try and, shoot all those layups. And it's like, stop it. Just two hands behind the head, boom, that thing. Easy. Who's really rocking with you like that? But he goes for like the finesse layup sometimes, which can be a little bit irritating, especially when you're watching the game from your house and you're looking at a TV screen. Because shouting at the TV screen makes you look crazy. Collins' ability to help Kessler get his buckets is underrated. Yeah, he instilled a level of confidence and expectation in Kessler that it was hard to do. Very hard. No, KO and JC wouldn't pass to Keontae. KO not passing to him is insane. I would understand trading Jordan Clarkson. I think if you really think that you can contend with Lowry and you're prepared to say Sexton is part of your core going forward, JC probably has to go, right? Because he's got too many years to where you can't just sit him on your team and let him be mediocre while everybody else develops and then he retires because he's not going to. He's still got at least like probably 3 or 4 more years. So it's pretty reasonable to assume that he's going to be around for a minute. So let's go ahead and trade him while the stock's decently high, while people like contenders are looking for, scores off the bench, and we'll go from there. All love for him, though. Still think give Jackson Walker more minutes, even on the bench. I understand that. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Who'll be in the first 5 now? I'm not sure. I'm interested to see who they decide to pull up for Fontecchio. I think the trade deadline is going to see another shakeup first for us specifically, and then we'll know for certain if this trade is a guaranteed, this is what it is, or if it's like a long-term one-off thing and we're just sliding one person up in the rotation. What's good, Christian? Yes, sir. Brent, you said the Pistons second is basically a late round first because of how bad they are. It'll be the 31st or 32nd pick. Most likely, yeah. We can assume Hendricks will be on the active roster, right? That's what I'm thinking. Unless Kevin Knox really impresses coming out the gate, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be. Scream every time Gobert tried to do some fancy stuff around the rim when he should have just dunked. Mm-hmm. How much you all want to bet JC is going to be a New York Knick tomorrow? We're going to get Grimes and Fournier. That would be interesting. It'd be very interesting. I don't really care for Evan Fournier. Is that crazy? Not that I hate him. He's not a bad player. I just never really fell in love with his game. What was the Thunder's last game until the trade line? Tony Jones was just told about the Jazz are not pursuing Bruce. Interesting. The asking price must have been too high. Evan is just going to be a bad contract we take on. Okay. So yeah, I'm not the only person with that feeling or understanding of his game at the very least. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. Not mad at that at all. I think Clarkson to the Knicks is more likely than Clarkson to the Hawks, but I really hope Clarkson to the Hawks is what happens. I would rather have DeJounte than have anybody from the Knicks. Will I accept somebody from the Knicks? Yeah. Ego is going to be a very big thing that plays into everything, but I think JC would have more fun in Atlanta, to be honest, than New York. I'm originally from New York, so that's also, I guess, partially why I say it. And just because of the way his personality is and how creative and artsy he is, even like going down to his tattoos and his nail polish and everything, I think you might enjoy Atlanta more. Who do you think is Jazz number one for trade deadline? I'd like to think it's DeJounte Murray. I would. I lean that way, not so egregiously that I would sell the whole barn for him, but enough to where I might do a slight overpay. Right? They said 2 firsts and a starting caliber player. I might throw in something extra just to sweeten the deal and make them trade him because they're on the fence. And they said they're willing to keep him, right? They said it's 50-50. Clark's 100% going to the Knicks. You think we're still going after Murray? I think because, what do you call it? I would say because we've been in situations where only us and the Lakers put in official offers. Nobody else seems to be substantially deciding, hey, we really want this guy. So we have the most assets there. So they're probably going to look at our offer and counter offer and be like, yo, can we get such and such and such and such as well? And as long as it's not too crazy, I think Danny Ainge will still play ball. But if not, he'll be like, go make a deal with them Lakers. They're not going to make a deal with you, but they're not going to cut you a deal because they have nothing to give up that they're really going to give you of value because they're not going to give Austin Reeves up. But, go in and talk to them, and then we'll go a different route. You said Tony Jones also said the Jazz didn't make an offer for Bruce or came close to it. So it's weird because Fisher is legit, but if the Jazz didn't make an offer, then if they made an offer, they definitely would have said something. Bull said they're not trying to rebuild. Get the they're not trying to rebuild. So they don't know what they're trying to do. Then that's what that tells me. They have no idea what they're doing. That's what that told me. Note that DeJounte Murray is out tonight. Interesting timing, LOL. Yep, sounds about right. I'm not saying he's getting traded, but I'm also not saying he's not getting traded. The Bulls are crazy. Yeah. 24-25 season is a team option one, so the Jazz can let him walk, which is what I want to see happen if the Jazz trade Clarkson for him and Quentin Grimes. Fair. If the Bulls don't rebuild, they're doomed. DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic have I'm thinking that's 1 to 2 years left. Then they'll be at Pistons level. Yeah. I would trade for Lonzo. I would stock Lonzo in the barn because I've seen him in his shooting drills. Somebody was hating so hard in one of the comment sections. They said they were tired of seeing Lonzo workout videos. I've only seen Lonzo do 2 shooting drills since he's been cleared to move. Realistically, calm down, buddy. Admittedly, I don't know how much. It looks like the cartilage replacement was successful. But the question is, are we going to get, good 3-point shooter, occasional driver, really great disher of the basketball, Lonzo, that has great lockdown defense, borderline all NBA defense, or are we going to get the husk of that, right? Because we can't trade for the husk of a great defender. That's not going to work because we need good defenders at the point of attack. And Lonzo's length at 6'6", we could play him alongside Colin Sexton, and it would be acceptable, right? As opposed to, trading for even a 6'4" guard to put in there, right? 6'6" is a lot better than 6'4", and it might allow him to have a little bit more interesting lineups, mix and matching things. And I think that he would ultimately, I think he would unlock another layer of Ochai if we do keep Ochai. Now I've seen Ochai in a little bit of trade talks, but I think if we kept him and we managed to get Lonzo, I think Lonzo could unlock that next gear for Ochai, particularly on the fast break. Oh yeah, man, it's cold. It's cold over here right now. I didn't realize how cold it was until I like started not being fully dressed in like a million layers. Bulls are looking to move Drummond for like 3 first. Nobody's trading for Drummond for 3 first. Absolutely not. Oh, 3 seconds? Mm, I personally value him at that, but I know a lot of teams won't give that up even. Maybe 2 seconds in a bench piece or something. We said, I hate to see THT just rot on the bench. Can we let him go somewhere for a couple Costco hot dogs? Costco hot dogs and a Coke. Yeah. I'm not. I'm with you on that. It's time for him to go somewhere. I don't know where, but we should send him somewhere and give him the opportunity to be successful. He said, "Say, got you. The Bulls need to blow it up. Trade everybody. What are you waiting for? The end. They're waiting for the end. Lonzo is nice, just worried about the injuries. Yeah, that's the thing. And cartilage replacement isn't something you hear about anybody. So the fact that he underwent it, the idea is that it was successful, but we won't really know until next year or next season at the very least. Bridges has 32 points in 3 quarters. Miles or Markel? Excuse me, Miles or Michael Bridges? Let me know. What are your thoughts on the Jazz trying to get Bruce Brown? I mean, since there appears to have been like just general conversations, maybe even a phone call, but no actual or guaranteed offer put down for Bruce Brown, it just makes the most sense that they probably won't go all the way through. I don't hate the trade. I also don't love the trade. It's just kind of a trade, you know. But I wouldn't hate them if they were to pull him. It would also depend on what they ship out to get him, though. The Bulls are just chickens and can't realize it's not working. Oh no, they recognize. They definitely do. They just, I don't know. Think Clarkson and Sexton will be traded. They started to pull Sexton's name out of trade talks though, and THT's name's been heating up a little bit more. Fontecchio I was not heavily on one though either. It was Clarkson, THT, and Olynyk that were the big three yesterday. Like yesterday around 6 p.m. my time, so 4 p.m. Utah time, that I was hearing about. We had the number 1 seed with Don and Rudy, and still realized we needed to change something. Fair. We could already be out of a rebuild by now, just wasting time. As good as Murray is, I think Michael Bridges is a better fit. Yeah, I would not be mad with Michael Bridges. I think his personality, you have the potential where if you have DeJounte Murray alongside Colin Sexton, they're so similar personality-wise that they might actually clash. That might be my only concern with them. But outside of that, I like his play, like the skill set alongside, Lowry and the rest of them. But Michael Bridges, as a consistent scorer, a great defender, and a rangier one at that, I think that him and his more mellow demeanor might mesh a little bit better. And I think he'd just be fun. He'd just be a fun vibe. He gives me Chris Dunn energy, right? He's not crazy vocal, but he communicates on defense, right? He's a decent leader, and he's just happy for guys. Just as good as Murray is, I think yeah, I just read that. Yeah. Too bad Brooklyn wants the KD size package. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Do you think Sexton or JC gets traded? JC, I think. JC goes to New York, and I hope Sexton stays. I don't want them to ship out Sexton. Because if you ship out Sexton, you effectively have to get a Sexton return. You have to get a player that's going to be as consistent and as vocal of a leader for everybody and keeps the team galvanized even when things get real ugly, because they will get ugly. We've seen it happen. Like last week, things got ugly. Just stuff like that. I'm just confused on what the Jazz are doing. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to make a push. They're trying to make a push, but they're open their arms to a play-in game, but their long-term vision is still to be a contender. But they're not looking to blow it up and then go to be a contender. They want to be a contender as quickly as possible. So they're trying to buy a little bit right now, mix things together, see how it goes into play-in because they know they're not going to be a contender unless somebody crazy becomes available. And then after this year, they're going to dial it. They're going to run it back, chemistry, players, all that stuff. They're going to have another year of continuity for the most part, obviously, because we traded Fontecchio and probably going to ship out a couple other guys and replace them. But other than that, things will be really consistent, and you'll see a situation where the Utah Jazz are just capable of being a top 4 team in the West, which subsequently will likely lead to them being contenders. Maybe not in everybody's eyes just next year. Maybe it'll take a couple years of consistent deep playoff runs, but it's definitely potentially, regardless, the window of their opportunity is looking like it's going to be in the next 5 years. So them blowing things up again would be completely counterproductive towards what they said their plan was. If so, already been discussed. Do we see starting in Fontecchio's place? Night guy, what's good, my guy? We're not sure at the moment. It seems like it's a Taylor Hendricks thing. I mean, even if you look at Utah Jazz, even just like looking at their roster right now, maybe you go because I said you could move Walker Kessler in, put interchange John Collins and Lowry at the 3 and the 4, but they're not going to have much dribble penetration, right? And John Collins' shot isn't falling right now, so maybe you go Kelly Olynyk. If you don't trade Kelly Olynyk, that is, right? If you now maybe call me crazy, right? Maybe this isn't a direct play for Taylor Hendricks to start, but maybe Taylor Hendricks still gets more minutes. But maybe it's a situation that allows Ochai to get a start in games and prove that he either deserves to be part of the core or should be traded. Whether he's good or whether he's a dud. Low key. I think that if we don't trade him, because I've heard we're going to trade him, but I think that might be a low key something that could potentially happen. Because before we had him playing behind like Lowry's minutes. We said trying to retool, keep a solid core, build for the future. THT getting paid too much. Not even crazy too much, because I think on another team he does present enough to make himself worth the money that he's actually getting paid in his contract. But right now for us, it's just not that guy. He's just not that guy yet. Hendricks better be in the lineup tomorrow. I'm going to flip. He better play. He needs at least 15 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. Fontecchio is an expiring contract. I think the deal is smart by Ainge, not guaranteed to resign. But we had the restricted free. He was a restricted free agent, though. So we would have been able to re-sign him and match whatever offer any other team put out. And I think we would have. I think he enjoyed being out here. I don't think it was anything crazy. Oh, we got a career high in viewers right now, guys. Let's go. Shout out to the gang. Like the video, man. Subscribe if you haven't already. We do this all the time, especially after games. We always live. But I could see a situation where other teams do value it at that level. Fontecchio in particular was a guy that needed he deserved opportunities, and that's why there was so much interest for him. Now I don't know what any other specific contending type teams. I would have rather sent him out that way to give him an opportunity to like play for something meaningful, because right now we're effectively just threw away like the next 3 years of his career. So he's going to be 31, 32 before the Pistons are any semblance of a decent team in the playoffs, at least. And that's if they decide that that's what they want to do. What level do you think George can get to in the future? I really don't know. Some nights he gives me the Colin Sexton intensity and solid defense. Other nights he gives me, Jordan Clarkson. It's like he's been playing alongside Jordan Clarkson so much I don't want to see that. But I think that he has the potential to be a franchise point guard. He still does. I'm not going to sit there, even though his shooting splits haven't been the greatest this year. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh my God, because he can't play, because he doesn't play defense really good and he can't shoot well. He's garbage. I'm not going to do that. I'll give him 2-3 years before I have a genuine opinion of like, this is who this guy is. I don't see him changing. At that point, I will. You think Olynyk gets traded? Yeah, probably. Flair, yeah. Larry plays 3 again. Hendricks back up big. Could see it. Let's go. White Microwave. What's good, my guy? Olenek is definitely gone. He's more tradable asset than Simone, in my opinion. And we all know what happened to him. Yeah. I genuinely don't understand how this trade would even help us long term. The odds of any of these guys we got equaling tech or better is pretty low unless Hendricks starts balling out or we get a different forward tomorrow. I will not understand. I think at worst we switch this out to give more room to work with for specific players on a roster, i.e. the Taylor Hendrickses of the world. The players that we get back, I don't have much faith in, right? That second round pick, I don't have a huge amount of faith in whoever that turns into. As far as the other guy from Italy, Progita, he's got a little bit before he's going to be, a ripe tomato. So it's going to be around the world before we get something guaranteed and concrete that we can really sink our teeth into. Always live after games except that one time. Yes. And I apologize about that. It was a bad day. I'm not gonna lie. It was a bad day. I used to not stream on weekends, and then I started doing the car streams, and y'all really rock with them. So we do car streams now on the weekends when I'm doing security. I genuinely don't understand how this trade would even help us long term, and the odds of any of these guys we're not equaling. Oh wait, did you send that twice? Oh yeah, it double sent. I was about to say, wait, what in the world? Keontae George is amazing. Why is George playing before Hendricks or Bryce? Because at the time he was, I'll say, so what ended up happening was we needed a point guard. Keontae was the only one out of the three that played in the summer league. The other two dealt with injuries. So he had the biggest sample size, and like the media circus was behind him. So it pushed the hype that allowed him to end up playing on the roster to begin with, while the other guys rehabbed and like prepped for the NBA level in the G League. And then in the spot minutes that we saw Taylor Hendricks play, he looked pretty solid. When the spot minutes we saw Bryce play, he was like, okay. But even in the G League, we see Bryce not be a terrific defender. And that's the biggest thing for him. Playmaking and defense. Obviously, those are things that are issues with Keontae's game as well. And for him, also his shooting percentages, he takes good shots. It's just about making those good shots. So Bryce and Taylor Hendricks aren't like too far behind. I don't want it to seem that way, but it's that there was a demand and a slot available for that point guard, shooting guard type spot. And Keontae, by virtue of the fact that we have a bigger sample size of data and information at our availability about him because of the summer league and the fact that he played it that and the preseason, he got the nod for that one slot. He said, and his defense is actually good. Good might be a stretch. Now, I will say this. When he's alongside Chris Dunn on the court, he plays significantly better than when he's alongside Jordan Clarkson, which is partially why I would rather have Jordan Clarkson traded low-key, because I think some of his bad habits end up rubbing off, and then he also doesn't talk on defense very well, right? So Keontae's on the floor like on his own, which is definitely not ideal for him. Goldie only some of the pricing. Oh well, yeah, there we go. I'm on like the stream, guys. For like crazy. What Colin said, man. Jazz talking to the Raptors, Kelly Olynyk and Ochai for Bruce Brown. Yeah, but it seems like it doesn't look like they're going to put an offer for him though, because it seems like they want more than that. I think tomorrow's moves will be more exciting than this one. Oh, for sure, Monty. Yeah. Right about that. No, you good. Do you think there will be any more trades? Yeah, I would wager there's probably going to be at least 2 more for the Jazz specifically. 2 more, I'm going to say. Jazz have been in a lot of trade rumors as well as teams like the Hawks. After these games, tomorrow's the deadline. Yeah. I was able to watch some video on Gabriel Progita this afternoon. I don't think he's anywhere close to being ready to play in the NBA. Maybe it could be. Yeah, Ravens. That's what I was saying earlier. He's got at least 2 to 3 years before we can bring him over here. 27% from 3 in the EuroLeague is not good, right? If he was shooting like 33, 34%, I could say that's probably going to translate. But 27% is kind of, I don't know about that, So maybe he just needs a little bit more. You said, give me a rundown, make it quick. All right. Fontecchio trade. It wasn't terrible. It kind of makes sense. They were clearing up minutes. At worst, you cleared up minutes to allow for Taylor Hendricks or another one of your players on your roster, the younger guys, to go ahead and get some more burn. I'm sneaky thinking if Ochai doesn't get traded, it might be a play for Ochai to go ahead and show whether he's worth staying on the team or whether he's going to be just a trade asset later on down the road. With that being said, the Pistons think that Fontecchio is going to be a big part of their future going forward. So there's going to be a situation that allows for him to go ahead and just re-sign. They have a remember, he's a restricted free agent. So the Pistons can match any team's offer that gets put on the table for Fontecchio. Will they? I think they probably will because they seem to be adamant about having him specifically on their roster. 28 years old, 39% from three. Gotta love it. Continuing on down the list, Bruce Brown, no official offer, but there have been a couple phone calls, a little bit of interest there, just to see how things are going. Another team that's really interested in Olynyk has been the Miami Heat, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Olynyk is going to be coveted by many contending teams because they want a valuable backup big that can shoot the ball, can rebound well, and can play make, right? Those three things are not common in bigs. So if you can get great value Jokic slash Sengun or Sabonis and have it on the bench for like 15 to 20 minutes a night, gladly take it. Is his defense great? No, but you don't need great defense because you can have an extra facilitator that can also shoot the ball and stretch the floor for you and do a lot of things well and serve as a secondary ball handler off the bench, right? So that's a very solid thing to keep in mind as well. What else did we say? Prajita, not ready for the league yet. Still probably needs 2 or 3 years to get his shooting right. Does have promise though. 6'7", 194 at his last measurement. Shot 38% in the top Italy league, League A, but didn't translate over to the Euro League in a little over 60 minutes. I think it was 16.2 or 16.4 minutes. Over the past 2 seasons, he's shooting 27% from three, which is that's rough. That's tough. That's not good. Outside of that, that's really just the majority of what we've covered today, and then just talking about who else we think will get traded, how we feel about certain players, just that sort of thing. But yeah, that is the quickest rundown I can give to you. Huh? Don't troll me, Zachary. I got Woj on my other screen. Yeah, don't troll like that. You don't sit there and say Keontae got traded. I was about to say, are you serious? But yeah, that's the rundown. Because he said Pistons will def make some more moves too, and Miles Bridges is gonna have his final game as a Hornet. Probably. Yeah. Jordan Clarkson is up and down. Yeah, I could reasonably see them trading him away. I think Keontae has taken huge steps lately. Our last 2 wins, Keontae has been the key in both, which is a great spark. Yeah. Consistency is key, right? I've been saying I don't like Keontae and Clarkson on the court together. Yeah, I'm behind you. I second that motion. My opinion, Abaji should not be traded. I think Abaji deserves a genuine run. And if this Fontecchio move allows Abaji to go ahead and prove he either is a potential solid role player for this team going forward or he's not, I'm here for it. 100%. 100%. What time does daylight go to? Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. Yup. Our first round pick. Our set on a first round pick for Bruce Brown. Really interesting. According to Tony Jones, who's the Utah Jazz dude, there's no Bruce Brown trade. Keontae getting traded would break my Jazz fandom for at least a year. How long? Unless we get a top 10 player. Fair play. James, 0% chance. No 0% chance. Ends at 3 p.m. So, yeah, 18 hours basically. Thoughts on Tyler Hero? I like Tyler Hero. I was a fan of his game even when he was back in high school. Do I think we'll get him? Probably not. I don't think his defense is even good enough to push the needle for us specifically as a team. But I think he should stay with the Heat. They had a little bit of a rocky road right there when he almost got traded, but they let him know, hey, it's a business. At the end of the day, we'll do. He held out on the chest. He understood that, and they never pressed him or made him feel wild about it after that. They gave him his minutes and everything. 52 Jazz fans watching right now. I know, Ravens. All y'all were the basis for it, man. Joe Ingles should retire, go play in Australia. Love to mess with Jazz, though. One of my favorite players. Definitely a solid guy. Pretty nice. The likes aren't. Yeah, my likes are down, y'all. Like the video, man. I know y'all in this stream for real. Where we at? Yeah, like the stream boys. He said Joe has been a good vet for the Magic, though. He has. Keontae to Detroit for their whole team. Woes just said it. Be for real. 51. Yo, what up, though? Pistons fan here. Shout out to the Jazz fans. What's good, Marvin? Marvin Tolbert. Hey, man, I'm glad to have you in here, man. I don't really care that you're a Pistons fan. I love regardless, man. Appreciate you popping out. Appreciate you popping out to the function. It doesn't work like that. Here's my I just missed it. Here's my tinfoil hat. With the Wolves and Cavs playing good right now, those look like mid to late first rounds. The worst case, Gabriel comes in as a rookie if we don't see anyone we like. Okay, fair. Only real ones were here when it was just 9 of us. It was like 7 at one point. Don't forget that one, Kuzi. You was part of that. Collinsworth, the next few years he should. Wolves will be very bad in 2029. I don't think so, because by that time, Anthony Edwards is what? He's 22-ish right now. In 5 years, he's going to be 27. He's going to be like really just in his prime, just barely. You could argue that Gobert is going to be probably out the door, and they'll probably have traded Cat, or Cat will be just gone or trashed by then. But I think that they'll, by Anthony Edwards' hand alone, it would at the very least have a Luka Doncic effect, where he can single-handedly make the team competitive, even though they probably won't be a contender by his hand alone, if that makes sense. But yeah. Would you trade Sexton for an unprotected pick and a swap? Nah. Because Sexton is too integral right now from a scoring standpoint. Like, he's had a couple, like, not great games, but he's also only played, like, 23 and 26 minutes in those recent games, so much so that Jordan Clarkson has shot worse from the field, turned the ball over more, and still played, like, a minute, 2 minutes more than him, which I don't necessarily agree with, but maybe they're just showcasing him for this moment so they can trade him. Either way, I like Colin Sexton alongside everybody, even Colin Sexton on the bench. I like Colin Sexton on the bench. That's weird to say, but seeing a guy that can be hyped for his teammates and his fellow guys getting the job done and come off the bench and shout them out and be hyped for them, like the number of times I've seen him compliment Keontae George, especially over these past 2 games, whenever Keontae George hits a big shot, got that one dunk on the fast break, and then the other teams called, OKC called a timeout, or the Bucks called a timeout. First person off the bench come flying down, jumping 10 feet in the air was Colin Sexton. Came over there bumping him, telling him he was doing his thing. And that's something you can't teach, right? Guys either have that in them and they're that type of character where they're going to hype you up 10 out of 10 times, or they're just going to be the guys going to be like, yo, good job, bro. And they're going to keep it pushing, or they might not say anything, right? And that energy is something that you should protect if you're this team. Here to hear more about the trade. I know Simone lit us when he came to Detroit. Surprised y'all gave him up. Yeah, I didn't really love the fact that we gave him up. You said deep in the future. I could see it potentially happening at that point. Like when Sexton hits his 30s, if Keontae does end up being everything that they think he can be, and Sexton can adjust off the bench, I could see that situation occurring. Yeah, James. Fontecchio was a solid player, shot really well from 3. Shot well from the field, made right decisions, was a willing passer, rebounded when necessary, assisted when necessary, made the hockey assist, occasionally had steals and blocks, was a much better defender than a lot of people anticipated he would be. He just got the job done on both ends of the floor, and we appreciated him for that. All things considered, he's going to be big for the Pistons. Marvin, y'all will definitely appreciate having him. He's a solid veteran. Take care of him in that city, because he is from Italy. Remember, he's not an American, so he doesn't do that. And Utah and most places in Utah, Salt Lake City specifically, isn't the same as Detroit. Detroit, Michigan, it's not the same. But I think he'll at the very least leave a big impression on that team. Similar, maybe not the exact same as Joe Ingles is leaving on the Magic right now, but he'll definitely boost them up and hold them more accountable, and also be a viable player and a threat on the court. We said 27 and 29 Wolves picks will be nice in the swaps. I wonder. Yeah, but they owe us next year's too, and that will be very late. True. If Ingles retires, I'd bring him in as an assistant coach in a heartbeat. Oh, for sure. We already have what's his name? Terry. We already have Jason Terry on the coaching staff. Might as well add Joe Ingles. I like Joe Ingles. He's a respected guy. Sexton for a pick is ridiculous. If we trade Sexton, we can go for Cooper Flag next year, though. I have a very strong opinion on Cooper Flag not being that guy. I can do it in a different video, or if I catch up on these comments, actually, I can give y'all a quick rundown on why I'm not big on Cooper Flag. Just remind me. Jazz trying to give more minutes to the rookies and other players, add the trophy picks. Yeah, even if it's a top 3 pick, other prospects turning into someone better. Sexton, we need at least 2 picks. Lakers fan here, come in peace. Oh, you're good, Matt. Oh, Max, you're in here? What's good, my guy? No, you're free, bro. Glad to have you here. I said it was a general NBA chat, so everybody's welcome. This isn't this is my Jazz specific channel, but it's also just whoever pops out to the function. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's family here. That's how we're treating it. The pick has a 1 in 30 chance of being Cooper Flag. 52 seconds ago. Yeah, it was. And it won't be Pistons trading for Sexton even lower than 1 in 30. Collins World. Yeah, I do like Henderson from the draft. Dan was saying 1 pick in a 30 swap, in a 1 pick swap. Maybe Lakers 29th and 30th swap. Miles Bridges balling out right now. Oh, so it was him. He's going crazy. How many does he have right now, Brent? I see still too low. Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is low-key tough. If LaMelo Ball should be so much better. I wish Lonzo was in Charlotte. I would go to Hornets games to see Lonzo. I'm not going to Hornets games to watch LaMelo. I'm not going to lie. LaMelo doesn't really do much for me. Lonzo is like, he takes winning personal. LaMelo's just pay me and let me put that drip on. Let me get iced out and drive around the city and I'm cool. And credit to them, that's exactly what they do. They made this Hornets team makes Steve Clifford look like a terrible coach, and he's not. Remember, the last time we made the playoffs was with Steve Clifford at the helm with Al Jefferson, and Kemba Walker. Of course, we were a first round exit thanks to the final year, I believe, of LeBron James and the Miami Heat. But Steve Clifford's a defensively minded coach, so you give him a bunch of offensively minded players that don't play defense like that and don't care for defense like that, and it's hard to get them to buy in and actually be capable of doing certain things. So he might be the wrong coach for the job, or you could say he has the wrong personnel. It's kind of like if you gave a welder a saw and said, get it done. He's a freaking welder. He needs heat. A saw, he's a welder. It's not how it works. Wrong tools for the job. That's all. In my opinion, though. Cat's going to go in the next 2 years from the Timberwolves. I can see that. Yeah. Miles Bridges is an interesting trade prospect. Hornets not giving up Miller. Oh, yeah. No, they definitely won't give up Miller. That was the first time MJ made a proper draft decision. I thought he was screwing him over at the beginning, but we see that Brandon Miller's playing a lot better than Scoot is right now. So shout out to that. But Scoot's coming around. Nasri will enter his prime and become league MVP. That might be crazy, Freddie. Kevin Knox actually solid for us. 2nd round pick is high, but this is a weak draft in my opinion. It is, yes. And Brigitte is good, but the Pistons had trouble with his contract in the league he's in. I think the season, who you got in playing? Who's in it right now? I don't want us to be in the play-in. I'm not gonna lie. I would rather us nab the 6th seed than be in the play-in. But if we have to be in the play-in, I'd rather be 7th seed. Definitely not 10th. I think the Mavericks are definitely going to be a play-in team. I could see the Lakers popping and sliding into 6th and us being left in the play-in though. Not good, but not really, definitely underrated. I mean, it's just suspicion that the early 2nd round pick we got today was going to be an asset that puts the Murray trade over the edge. Think so. Interesting thought process. We're about to find out, that's for sure. Losing Fontecchio sucks, but it wasn't guaranteed that he would re-sign. Makes sense for the future, though. At least we would have a pick this year. He would have had to. I don't want to sit there and make it seem like he has no choice, but since he was a restricted free agent, that would give the team a lot more leverage. Wait, whose name I'm saying wrong? I'm saying somebody's name wrong? Spell out the syllables of Simone's name. I don't think Joe Ingles wants to coach. He'd be a good one, but I don't think he'd rather spend time with his family. Yeah, he does strike me as a family man, more of Ricky Rubio style kind of guy. Actually, could have flirt. Yeah, Cooper Flag in high school. You can't base him off high school. I base him off high school only because he goes to Montverde. Um, Obviously, comparing him to his peers in his particular play style. Like anybody that knows Isaiah Evans, North Mecklenburg, I've seen him play in person. He's like that. He has more of a pro game than a high school or college type game, but considering his shot selection and his just overall confidence that he has, it's hard to see high school players that have that sort of thing though. So he has a knack that a lot of guys don't have. Picking me use next year to get the next Jazz star. Darius Garland stinking it up right now. Fair play. I believe it. Um, Overrated factual watch the film. He is. Jefferson Jessup. Yeah, that's why I made that face. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You mentioned 2 more Jazz trades are coming. Please elaborate. Oh, I got you, Ryan. LaMelo Alonso's ankles are horrible. It's the shoes, I say. Hey, Alonso wore them a lot more than LaMelo did. That's for sure. I thought it was the Grizzlies trades. I traded Tillman to the Celtics. Yeah, for 2 second-round picks. Just for information, I'm listening, but I'm installing drywall, and it's hard to be on the chat. Lee, you're good, bro. I think the Mavs are going to slide down the roster. Besides Luke and Kyrie's awful. Derek Lively, he's been tough. I didn't think he was going to be that good as a rookie, and he actually makes me respect their front court a little bit. Same as Lee, my year. But fair play. Oh, we got one of those Knicks first round picks for Clarkson, even if we can't get Grimes. Simone. Oh, I'm saying C. I got you. Simone. So I was saying C. That was a difference. It's C instead of C. That's what it was. I only said it like that because somebody pronounced it like that in my comment section, and they said they were Italian. So it was on the initial video, that my highest viewed video. So I started saying it that way. He literally typed it out like C as in ICU, like to see the clouds in the sky. Like he spelled it like that. So that's why I just kept saying it like that. Where is that, Lee? DM me that link. Well, once you're done with the drywall, of course. Simone, got you. Simone Fontecchio. Crazy stuff, dude. Okay. Is it's NBA official or is it a Google thing? If it's NBA official, I'll just pull it up on Google then. Yeah. I didn't know that they had one that was that widespread. Credit to the NBA then. They did something right for once. I'd love to see the Jazz get Brandon Ingram. He might be like the drier weed here instead of the swamp weed and the bite. Oh, okay. I got you. Personally, I think it'd be sorry, Jackson. Interesting. I think Ron Holland number 1 there. If you Google, I got you. All right, what's good, Dallin? Dallin, didn't you pop in earlier? Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah. Cooper Fly, just a quick branch off. I'll make it very short, I promise. My thing with Cooper Flag, has the size, has the length, has the athleticism, has the side-to-side verticality. His issue is his moves become slightly predictable. He's so used to being the best guy in his team by such a large margin that he doesn't make the correct reads when he should pass the ball, and he tends to put himself into situations where he's getting double teamed out of spin moves and out of fadeaways and pull-ups when he has no need to. Now, the situation is typically if you're the best player on your team, in games where teams are really blanketing you and you're getting caught in a situation where you're facing a box and one, or you're facing just like a zone defense or a situation where they're just decide to double you, you have to pass the ball to make yourself more than one dimensional. If they know you're going to keep the ball and shoot it, they're going to keep doubling you without fear of anything. And that's been the biggest issue whenever Montverde ends up facing different teams, particularly when Cooper Flag is playing with his AAU team, because he's less privy to pass the ball even then because he doesn't think his teammates can create for themselves. And you can argue either way whether they can or cannot, but the issue is, similarly to Jordan Clarkson, what he tends to do sometimes, he gets tunnel vision where it's like, I'm the best guy that can get a bucket on the floor right now. So what am I doing kicking the ball to somebody else just for them to give it back to me or for them to break a shot? If somebody's gonna brick, I want it to be me because I can score the best. And so that's a situation that he tends to get himself into. Again, he is a high schooler. He's playing, a Fairmount vert, so I think they're going to iron some of that stuff out still. AAU is what a little bit concerns me a little bit more because he's in a situation where he doesn't play with a lot of great players on his AAU team, and because of that, he doesn't trust their skill set as equally as he trusts his own, which is problematic. But yeah, that's my quick rundown on Cooper Flag. Is he going to be the number one pick in the draft? He has the potential to be, but right now he doesn't have the same feel for the game that I would say Wemby had coming out, or Chat had even. Fontecchio already traded the Pistons? Yes, sir. Yep, absolutely, OJ. Do you think the Jazz will trade anybody else? I'm dead. He said he's not on the Jazz now, so you don't have to pronounce it right. I still got to give him that respect, man. I still got to, because we got another French man. We got another Italian on the team now as a result of that trade. Fontecchio memories for the times he dunked in the game winner in the Warriors, and that's about it. I think if the Grizzlies number one, Alex Sarr, I could see that. But yeah, looking at other trade targets, I forgot who asked me about it earlier. I did not forget about you. John Collins doesn't look like he's going to get traded, right? Nobody looks like they really want to take on his contract, and he's playing well enough to where we're accepting what we can get out of him. For reference, he is averaging 14.3 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.6 steals, 0.8 blocks, only 1.4 turnovers, and 2.8 fouls. Shooting 52% from the field, 34% from three, and 77% from the free throw line. So not great, not terrific splits, but good splits. Good rebounding, not a lot of scoring, but again, he's got his minutes slashed down a little bit. He's down to 27.7, understandably so. The only guys with more than 30 minutes right now is Jordan Clarkson, just finally dropped under 30 at 29.9, and Lowry is first with 32.7. So we get to see Hendricks take Tech's time. I would like to, but I could also see if we don't trade Abaji, I could see Ochai actually getting some of those minutes as well. I do think regardless, even if you move Abaji into the starting role, I think Hendricks at the very least gets moved into the bench role. I think so. It'd be the perfect opportunity too. I don't think we're going to see another one like this. John Collins worth the keep, man. All right, if you're asking, I would say right now, yes, he's genuinely trying, and he hasn't been as he hasn't been. How do I explain this? There's some games where you look at John Collins and you realize he's trying, but he's going to be a net negative regardless. But he's not going to. He's long past the days where he's just going to be terrible on defense. I don't view him as terrible, me personally. I've hyper focused on him a couple of games and really watched him hoop. Offensively, we know what he does. His 3-point shooting needs to come back. I don't know if he hurt his finger again. If something's going on, I need him to get that jumper back, because 18% from 3 over the past 12 games on 30 plus attempts is not. We can't live with that, right? But he finishes at the rim really well. He's a lob target. Colin Sexton loves throwing him lobs. He loves finishing those lobs. He also is tenacious on the glass. We need that. We need a dirty dog, right? And if you replace him, there's no guarantee that Walker Kessler is going to do that, because we see Walker Kessler get boards and then try and lay him up real fancy. We see him get passes and then go one dribble into a hook and it misses. We've seen him try and get to the rim, and then it just doesn't look like he wants it that bad. You see John Collins getting airborne. He catches a lob. He double clutches, brings it back down by his shoulder, and then lays it off the other side. Did that last game. Coming down against the Hornets. Caught the lob, double pumps, Miles Bridges go by, boom, bangs it down. Like, that level of intensity is something that you can't teach for guys. Guys just have to want it for themselves. And I was hoping that Walker Kessler would have had some of that rub off on him already. He's taking a little bit more time. But overall, I don't hate John Collins' play style anymore. So I'm willing to accept him not being perfect and understand that he's going to be a slight negative on defense, but that he's worth keeping for now. Even if he's not worth his contract, I'm still comfortable keeping him. He said Collins is a sight for him and he brings a hard hat and a lunch pail game after game. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's the best way to put it. I'm hopeful that the Jazz just put Hendricks in Fontecchio's spot, but I'm afraid they'll just put Abaji there. I think JH. I think Abaji is deserving of the opportunity to prove he's not that guy. I don't know if Hendricks front facing the rim is goodness. His front facing game is up to par, up to NBA standards just yet. We know he can shoot the three ball, right? So that's going to give him some minutes, and we know he's a great defender. So even if he's not scoring, he's going to find a way to stay on the court because he rebounds well and plays great on ball defense and help defense. He can move his feet even on smaller guards. That said, I could see them saying, Abaji, this is going to be the determining factor whether we give up on you or whether you claim the small forward spot for yourself. In a perfect world, John Collins, you don't want him to be that net negative, and so maybe you don't prefer him to be a starter at some point. Maybe you want him traded eventually, but you're willing to eat the contract right now because he's playing well enough to substantially say, we can stomach this for now. If that's the case, then you're looking at a potential lineup later on down the line that probably has Taylor Hendricks alongside Walker Kessler, alongside Lowry, alongside Abaji, Sexton, and then if they trade for another guard, that other guard, and probably Abaji will get moved to the bench at that point. But things are kind of up and down right now. We said John Collins is much better than me at basketball. Fair play. I was at the game. Simone made the game winner. Fair play. Ochai needs confidence, and it's hard on the Jazz because he gets stuck in the units with Clarkson, has so many people around him competing for minutes. Yeah, that's a fair thing. Do you think they will trade Clarkson? I think that they would genuinely see who their players are if they were to trade Clarkson, because he is a ball stopper. He doesn't make Keontae better on defense. In fact, he makes him actively worse on the court on defense. But that game against the Bucks, alongside the Bucks, obviously offensive collapse, there was good defense played, right? You can't have one without having the other, right? Because if somebody's playing terrible defense, even if you can't shoot a three, you could darn sure hit a layup. You can darn sure dunk the basketball, right? But they played well overall in that one. That said, he is an icon for the teams and the city, so I understand it being hard to trade him. But me personally, I definitely shop him around and see if there's something pretty enticing. If there is, I wouldn't really hesitate, even though I know some people particularly would. But yeah. You said, I think the Jazz will trade Collins back to Atlanta. You think he'll go back? Really? That'd be hilarious, low-key. That'd be actually kind of hilarious. I just don't think Abaji brings much, even at his best. It's on-ball defense and corner threes. That's about all there. I want to see him as more of somebody with the ball in his hands. I want him to prove that he can dribble because I think he low-key can. Of course, we know him for being more of a fast break finisher. Like you said, a corner three-point shooter. He doesn't seem to shoot well from the wings. I could be wrong, but watching him at face value doesn't seem like he does. Defensively, obviously, we appreciate that. You can always find minutes for somebody that plays defense, but yeah, I see what you're saying. We need Kessler done playing starting minutes just for the defensive line. What are the three players you match up with them for our best lineup? Lowry has to be on the court, right? Depending on the game, I might go Sexton. Depending on the game, I might go Keontae. Sexton physically cannot compete on defense sometimes. He'll always be there, but sometimes he just physically can't compete, which I think is roughly equivalent to Keontae being bigger than Sexton, but not always giving the greatest effort on defense. I think those are pretty even balanced things. But Sexton is an energy guy. He shoots well from the field, and in games that he doesn't shoot well, he's still going to hype you up from the bench. So in that sense, if he is having a poor shooting night, give me Keontae. If Keontae is not hitting at all, make sure to keep me Sexton. Need Lowry in there, and then probably let me see. No Fontecchio, so KO maybe, but the defense wouldn't be great with him. I could see Taylor Hendricks honestly at that point. Um, the only thing with that would be a little bit of spacing because obviously Walker doesn't space the floor at all, and Chris Dunn hasn't been the hottest lately. He's been respectable as of late, but he hasn't been hot. Let me look at this percentage. He is at 40, 47.5% from the field. Oh, he's 40%, 40.9% from three on 1.5 attempts, though. So shoots the ball very few times, but it does go in more often than you would expect it to. Ochai has the athleticism, yeah. Ochai is the guy from, he's the guy that finishes fast break plays. He said Dunn and Kessler playing together is tough on spacing. We saw it last night. Our defense was great, but spacing was the issue. Yeah, that's fair. Dunn can hit threes. Kessler obviously can barely hit free throws, so we need to do something about that. I don't know what. We need to do something. Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles for us, I guess. Not necessarily an all bad thing, but it is a thing that deserves some merit. Dang, this Fontecchio video jumping right now, gang. We're doing a good job. The percentages obviously drop, but it's still pretty good. 14% click through rate, 836 views. Most people are watching it all the way through. Who would have thought my videos would still get views without having basketball clips in them? I mean, I don't have boppers watching my videos. I think that's another thing. If I had like 13-year-olds, their attention span is so low that I would have to have like a different angle. Like I'd have to have a side camera. I'd have to have a camera diagonal, like all this different stuff, all the bells and whistles. Whereas with you guys, I can just talk basketball and you guys understand, right? And we can have a dialogue. So I appreciate y'all for that. Even those that this is your first time in a stream ever with me, I still appreciate that because obviously I don't make a lot from doing YouTube, right? We just passed the 1K mark, but this is really, really nice. This is really, really nice, I'll say. Sorry, just got involved in numbers real quick. Kessler needs more dog in him. Yes, Kessler needs to have. Imagine Kessler with Colin Sexton's energy, or even John Collins' energy. When he turns it on, he turns it on. But it's the issue of he doesn't really always turn it on. That's his biggest problem. Past few games, I've been liking John's offensive game. Dunn can hit threes, but opposing teams don't expect him to, and won't garner from the 3-point line. I think it's less so that they don't expect him to, and then more so that they don't expect him to actually shoot it because he only takes. Let me actually. He takes like literally 4.2, 4.4 shot attempts per game. So he barely shoots the ball. So if a guy's on the court for 20 minutes and he shot the ball one time, you're probably not expecting him to shoot it that second time, which is fair, which is pretty fair. Let me see. If they trade Sexton, will you still gonna? Yeah, I cover the Jazz. I love Sexton. Yeah, I love watching his game, but I cover the Jazz. So regardless, that don't change that. No, no, I don't change that, Monty. Realistic trade would shock you tomorrow. If Sexton got traded, who off the bench could get traded? Walker would be the wildest thing. Lowry would be the wildest thing. If we managed to trade John Collins and get something respectable back, that would be surprising to me. That would be surprising. I don't think it happens, but it's possible. It would just be surprising. I'll say that. I feel like Lowry can turn into our number one option. The biggest thing is his defense has to get a little bit better, and or excuse me, more specifically, offensively, he has to play make a little bit more, right? In the games where he has like 3, 4-ish assists, the one game he had 5 assists, I was impressed. But like 3, 4, 5 assists a game. He also has to be able to put the ball on the deck and get his own shot. If he can do that, he can be a championship caliber number one option, bar none, in my opinion. Do you feel like he's a legit number one or number two? I think right now he's a number two. I would say he's a number two. First stream from me, but I like your channel. Hey, glad to have you here with us, JH. Was this the most you had on stream? Yes, this is my most viewed, like most at one time. Now the one video 2 times ago when I was in my car, when I was in the patrol car at work doing the security patrol, we ended up having like 600 people tune in. Now they only stayed for like 2 minutes, but we had 600 people tune in, and that was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, dang, y'all. Because remember, that was more views than my past 2 videos before that actually had combined, I'm pretty sure. So best believe I was happy about that. I was happy about that one. Lowry's a number 2 at best on a championship team. Jazz need a number 1 at some point in the next couple of years. Even if you say, okay, Lowry's a 2A option. He's a really good, let's say he's a really good 2, but he's limited. He'll never be a 1. Let's say he never improves his playmaking. He never improves his individual shot making to be like a Dirk Nowitzki type. Let's say he never does that. So you have a 2A. Sexton right now is at this moment he's looking like a 1B or a 1B/2A himself, right? Now during that one stint where he was going absolutely bonkers, he looked like he could have had the ceiling of a 1A, but I think he's a 1B 2A kind of guy, right? So you effectively let's say they're both 2As. You have 2 2As. If you add another 2A, does that carry you over the top? As long as your depth stays the same way it is right now, right? Or do you need an absolute positive 1A character or somebody with ego, guts, glory, and the moxie to just get it done at that highest level? That's a question that I have that I don't necessarily have an answer for just yet. Because we've seen it happen a couple times in NBA history where you don't have like a guaranteed top 10 player on your roster. You don't have some guy that's a massive alpha that everybody just follows the rules of. And with LeBron getting old and like finally leaving the league, there's no definite guys that I see sitting in a situation that will that have the power to individually take over an entire game. Like last year, Jokic made himself the best player in the world to me because I watched the Lakers play the greatest defense I've ever seen anybody play on him, and he still was doing that weak behind the head yoking that thing, and it was going in. So that was one of those that was like basically what the way I felt watching that game and watching him destroy the Lakers was probably the way Toronto fans felt watching LeBron every time he came into their stadium and bent them over and spanked their booty. Like that's probably what I would equate it to. That said, if I'm the Jazz, I don't know if you need, okay, so there's two sides to it, right? So you can say, okay, we need a 1. We need a guaranteed 1A, or you could say we need a 1B, or we can survive with another 2A, right? Those are the 3 options. But then the other question becomes, okay, how do we come across one of these 3 things? Can we draft one and hope that they develop into it? Like, can we be like a Timberwolves and draft in Anthony Edwards, right? Because they used to run everything through Karl Anthony Towns. But Karl Anthony Towns wasn't that guy. Jimmy Butler knew it wasn't, and he called a spade, went to Miami, and now he's been looked at as playoff Jimmy and Jimmy buckets ever since, right? He's happy. So they drafted Anthony Edwards, and he ended up being that guy that can push that needle and make them a genuine contender. Do we have the ability to draft some guy? Is Keontae that guy? I don't think Keontae, I think, has a high ceiling. I don't know if his ceiling is as high as Anthony Edwards is, though, because Anthony Edwards' ceiling is something different because he also started at a better place, and he just has a mentality and a mindset about the game that most young guys don't have, and most guys that get into the league just never achieve and maintain. So in that sense, I could see a world where, a lot of things could happen. I don't know if Keontae is that number 1 guy. he might be a 2A, 1B kind of guy, in which case I think that we would need to find through outside means who that extra person is going to be. And then that question becomes, okay, how do you convince them to come there and how do you convince them to stay there? Right? Because the biggest issue with a lot of small market teams is they just don't have the appeal, the nightlife, the marketing, all the extra stuff outside of basketball specifics that make the players want to the big name players want to stay there. Doesn't make it any less of a city or a team, right? Me personally, somebody, for example, when I was made my community post and I was asking about, what is there to do in Utah? What plane should I take? Where should I go? What kind of hotels y'all got? What kind of eating places y'all got? Y'all were naming all these places. You were like, I mean, if you're an outdoorsy type, we have hiking spots, we have mountains, we have beautiful scenic views, stuff like that. To me, even though I'm originally from New York and like skyscrapers, all that stuff, I like mountains. Don't get it twisted. I like snow. I like seeing scenery and stuff like that. So to me, that appeals to me. But for a lot of stars in the NBA, they didn't grow up caring about this stuff. They cared about basketball, basketball alone, basketball, basketball, basketball. The ball's always been bouncing in their head. And then, girls, basketball, occasionally school, basketball, girls, that sort of thing. So they don't have the same, a lot of them don't have the same appreciation. Now, if you get like overseas players and they come over here, they're perfectly fine because anywhere they go in America is different from their home. But they get a place where people treat them nicely. The food is good. They enjoy what they're doing. Everybody knows their name. Everybody's like in awe of seeing them. They appreciate that. And so they're willing to stay, which is why Lowry, I did not agree at any point with us trading Lowry. I understood the need for Danny Ainge to be like, I'm willing to shop him just to see what's out there and what people are willing to trade. But for me personally, if I can get a 2A, 2B character even, like only when you get to like 3A, 3B would I say, okay, this person can get traded. When you have 2A, 2B and you're a small market team like a Charlotte, like a you could even say Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, if Giannis doesn't turn into Giannis, who really wants to play in Milwaukee? No offense to Milwaukee, of course, but it's one of those places. The reason why we know about Milwaukee is because of who was it? Was it? I'm having a brain fart right now. Don't get mad. I think it was Kareem that played there, right? It was Kareem that played with the Bucks. I think. Ever since then, it was who, right? Ilyasova, who, So Giannis is the guy that makes the city, all that sort of stuff. So it puts you in a situation where if you're a small market team, you have to overpay to get guys, and then you have to convince guys to stay with you. So for the Utah Jazz specifically, you get yourself caught in a situation where if you decide Colin Sexton and Lowry are 2A players at best, and you say, I need a 1B at least, I would love to have a 1A, but I need a 1B. Okay, then I ask you, who is your 1B/1A character? How do you get them? What is their play style? And can you draft them? If you can't draft them, it's going to be hard. You might have to get you might have to get you another 2A, 2B character and go run a 3 pretty darn good player, but no elite type player, right? Like really good three all-star caliber guys. All 3 of them might not be all-stars every year, but they're all all-star caliber guys. Like you might have to run something like that and then have just like a bench full of guys that do their jobs. They're really consistent and they don't get in the way of anything and they play the game the best way that they can. They follow the screen, they follow the script, and nobody's a freelance artist. And you can get away with that because it's happened in championships before. In recent memory, of course not, because there's been the LeBron James, there's been the Warriors, right? But even if you look at the Warriors has Stephen Curry. He's the first small guard in the league that, I mean, unless you want to consider Isaiah Thomas from the Bad Boy Pistons, but even then, he didn't have the Curry role. Curry's the first small guard who had an entire system based around him, and he was the thing that made the engine go. You take Curry off that team, those Warriors teams are not like that. They're decent, right? You might say they're like a 6-7 seed in the West at any given year, but nobody's going to sit there and expect them to be top 4, right? It's one of those kind of situations. But so you can kind of masquerade certain things as long as the other levies in your situation are well placed enough. The biggest issue with Kevin Durant's teams and the players he requests to play for, if we look at the Suns, I don't know if we have any Suns fans in the chat, but if you look at the Suns, KD, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, all 3 of them shoot the ball. All 3 of them can score the rock at all 3 levels. All 3 of them are decent assist players. All 3 of them aren't great defenders. They've never all been great defenders in their career. Bradley Beal's probably the weakest defender out of the three, but you could say Devin Booker is a mild positive right now. KD's like a middle of the road, maybe a slight positive. Bradley Beal's probably a net negative just by a little bit because he's never had emphasis on that side of the ball, right? KD basically asked to play with two different variations of himself at different heights. So my thing at the beginning of the season, I recognizing this said, okay, defense, depth, injuries. Every Suns fan jumped at me in my comment section, said, you don't know what you're talking about. You clearly didn't watch any games. Devin Booker's a lockdown. I said, so because he averaged, it was a decent number though. It was 1.7 or like 2.3 steals a game in like an 11 or 12 game sample size last postseason. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't have to go far. I looked at James Harden's numbers, the exact same number of steals. And I said, okay, so you want to say that steals equals great defense. Steals does not equal great defense. You were in the right place at the right time, right? Do good players tend to have more steals? Correct. But is there anomalies? Yes. Just because you have a lot of steals doesn't make you a good defender? No. James Harden at times can be a plus defender. Does he choose to be a plus defender all the time? No. Especially not in this stage of his career. We've seen it. So that was one thing. Carrying on down the list, there you have a situation where all three guys are the exact same iteration of a player, and then they cost so much that you don't have enough money for the rest of the guys that you want to build around. So the GM's like, all right, so I gave you who you wanted. This is your big three. Cool. I'm going to try and fill in the gaps, give you a Grayson Allen here. Bull's going to be there. We're not going to use Bull, though. I mean, he's a pretty decent player, but we're not going to use him, whatever reason it is, whether it's still attitude issues or whatever the case might be. We switched out DeAndre Ayton because he wasn't good enough. We added, what's his name? Yusuf Nurkic. We're putting all these things around you, and then one of the big three gets hurt, and then boom, the whole thing goes up in shambles. Now Kevin Durant's literally fighting for his life every night, hitting that same tween, hezzy pull, step back three, trying to keep them afloat until they all got healthy. Finally get healthy, and they finally played more games than guess what? The last team he came from, the Brooklyn Nets big three all together. They were together for what, 2 years? Was it 2 years? Or just a year? I feel like it was 2. And they played all of 16 games together. It might have just been a year. They played all of 16 games together. Now, slightly halfway through the season, the Suns' big three finally just played more than 16 games together. That's not good. But that comes down to roster construction. And that was something that Kevin Durant really wanted for himself. And that structure, I don't think is going to be sustainable, for one, because it just hasn't been thus far in his career. He might be one of the most unlucky stars to ever request to play with certain particular guys. But outside of that, for them, he thought it would work. He thinks that him being on a team makes him a contender. For me, they don't. It makes him a playoff team, but I don't look at any Kevin Durant team ever, except for when he was with the Warriors, and say, oh yeah, they're a contender. Now, you could argue his last 2 years with Oklahoma City, he made them a contender. I will entertain that. But with the Nets, I didn't see them as a contender. I know some people did. Me personally, I didn't. Fair play, right? Maybe all three healthy, all three playing at the start of the games, maybe that changes my mind, but we never saw it, right? He comes to the Suns. Devin Booker, the most babied superstar in the league. Not a superstar for one. A perennial all-star? Yes. A great player? Yes. The number one shooting guard in the game? No, I'm not entertaining it. Can he score the heck out of the rock? Absolutely. Is he a decent positive on defense now? Yes. I still don't think he's the best shooting guard in the league because he's escaped blame when other people were getting crucified. The same way we crucified Kevin Durant for going to the Warriors to win, the same way we crucified LeBron James for not making the finals, the same way we crucify AD for not being healthy, is the same way we need to crucify him back when he was the leader of the team and the guy that got blessed with DeAndre Ayton and couldn't do anything with him, and their schemes never worked for DeAndre Ayton, and now DeAndre Ayton is considered to be trash, right? He escaped blame through everything. So much so, he never made the playoffs until Chris, old, aging, hurt at the wrong time every single year, Chris Paul came to his team and said, this is how you play defense. This is how you get to the playoffs. And then they got a finals appearance. Lost to the Bucks, but they made the finals. He got to shine on the brightest stage. Shout out Chris Paul. Devin Booker has always been assisted by other people to put him into positions to win. He's never had to be that dog on his own. And when he was earlier on in his career, he wasn't successful. Now, some people will say, okay, he was young, give him some slack. We were not giving Jason Tatum some slack. Now, there was those people that were, glazing saying, he's only 19, he's only 19, those people. But aside from that, Jason Tatum's received a fair share of criticism. There's a certain level of expectation for Jason Tatum. That same thing doesn't stick for Devin Booker. But that's my rant for that. Sorry. Back on topic, gentlemen. I mean, that wasn't too far off topic, but coming back up to where we are. I know I saw these come off screen for a second. Lowry is a number 2 at best on a championship team. The Jazz need to get a number 1 at some point in the next couple of years. I can respect that. We're here for the Jazz talk, not for the fancy productions or dazzling graphics. Thanks for keeping it real. It is what it is. It's what keeps me from coming back. I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. I think Clarkson and Olynyk are the most likely to get traded. I'd agree with you on that, Monty. Yes. THT is also a very likely candidate, just off the strength of the fact that he seems to be okay. He's not making a fuss about sitting on the bench, but there's no guy with THT's level of talent and ability that thinks he deserves to sit at the end of the bench and thinks that guys like Luka Samanic should be playing minutes ahead of him. So I think he would appreciate it, at the very least, if we would entertain trades for him to go play somewhere and actually get minutes. They probably saw the patroller, man. Nah, the Jazz need JH, you think the Jazz need an absolute one? I can respect that. Honestly, it depends on our rookies over the next few years. Yeah, we can wait a year or two. I want to see Hendricks and Bryce. Yeah, Bryce can be sneaky good. I need Bryce to be good at defense, though. He doesn't have to be great, but I need him to be a slight plus. I can't have him being a negative, right? He got his shot making in check. His efficiency is there. He's shooting 37-38% from 3-point range right now, and shooting like 44-45% from the field. It might be 46% from the field, actually. 45 or 46% from the field in the G League. Of course, it's the G League, but those are really good percentages because he wasn't shooting that at the beginning of the season, and he wasn't going off the way that he is going off now. Defensively, that's where his problems lie. Playmaking, he's a little shaky, but he can do it. He is capable. We'll see more of that, but yeah. I like Giannis, but the other night he dropped on the deck and fought like a fish on his X and drive. Bro, the level of hot, you can ask Flair and Cam. I was hot that day. I was watching that. I said, you got laid out. I was cursing a little bit. I was cursing up a storm a little bit. I'm not even going to lie to you. Because I said, nah, Sexton just did this boy dirty. He go sit there and act like he got punched in the mouth or something. Then you had Malik Beasley blindside shoulder checking Sexton and then getting a double tech. To me, that blindside should have been a flagrant, since everything's like since every tic-tac foul is a serious thing. Let's call the actual fouls flagrant. Let's call actual fouls then. That's a flagrant. I would have ejected him. Either way, we won the game, so it didn't matter. But if we would have lost that game, I would have had a stronger opinion about it. I'll say that. Did Jazz trade him? Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, Skylar. They did. He said and got garbage in return. Garbage is crazy. I like Lowry because he's such an efficient shooter. Long term, I'd rather have Lowry versus Donovan Mitchell. Lowry can still get better and turn into a 1B option. What is Lowry's ceiling? I would agree with you. The thing is, Lowry's 26 right now. So we've watched before our eyes Colin Sexton turn from a guy that was very ball dominant, didn't make correct reads passing the ball, had one speed, one track mind going downhill. Either he's going to make the layup, he's going to flail and get a foul call, or the ball's going to go out of bounds. It's going to be a turnover. Into a guy that can give you double-digit assists, can give you on average like 6-7 assists on a nightly basis, has a change of pace dribble, can drive downhill, run the plays properly, doesn't need to shoot the ball, makes the correct read and swings it and makes a skip pass to the other side of the court, right? Can kick to the corner, can dump it off, can give a lob. Like, we've seen that level of progression from Colin Sexton. I find it hard to believe that we can't see that same thing from Lauri Markkanen if that expectation is set for him. That's another thing. Because I think the reason why Lowry was an all-star last year was because of the way Will Hardy used him. But similarly, the ceiling of his game will be determined by Will Hardy, because the system we run is Will Hardy's system. So is Lowry capable of becoming a playmaker? Maybe not an elite one, but a decent one that can give you three, four-ish, four, maybe five assists on a nightly basis? I think so. He's a 7-footer. I think it's hard to believe that's a guy with that high level of efficiency can't pump fake, get by, and make a skip to the corner and have the corner man hit a three, right? I think that's not a stretch at all. I don't think him passing for a lob to Walker Kessler or John Collins is a stretch, right? I don't think that's a stretch. I think he can do that. Defensively, I like to see him get a little bit better. And then individually, him just backyard basketball, 1v1s, getting better at putting the ball on the deck and getting to his spots the way he wants to and not getting his shots dictated by the defense. Now, he does want to take what the defense is giving him, rightfully so, but you don't want it to be the main calling card of your game because a lot of people won't respect him similarly for that, I'll say. You said OKC was one Klay Thompson crazy quarter away from making the finals in 2016. That is true. Yeah. So yeah, they would have been they were contenders that year. Yeah. In terms of shooting guards, I take Mitchell over Booker. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tatum is a low tier superstar. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound absolutely insane, but I might take Jalen Brown. And I don't like Jalen Brown. For different reasons than Devin Booker, but Jalen Brown gives me more of a guarantee defensively than Devin Booker does. And while he's not liable to give you 60, Devin Booker we've seen Devin Booker score what? He was averaging like 50 points over 5 or 6 games and only won like 1 or 2 of the games. So while he was scoring efficiently at that, they just couldn't win with it. So that's another thing to keep note of. But maybe the Jalen Brown is a little bit of a hyperbole. I will say that. But the difference in their impact on each other's teams' games is not too far off. I would say the Suns are more impacted by what Kevin Durant does than what D Book does. Similarly, the Celtics are more affected by what Jason Tatum does as opposed to Jalen Brown. But both of them still matter, though. Tatum's a low tier superstar. Tatum ain't scary. Mitchell, the MVP. The question is, how do you get a one tank, get lucky? That's the question. That is the question right there. Because it puts you in a situation where, especially if you're a big market team, you can afford to make a trade and convince that guy, man, you want to be here. If you're in Texas, you got the income tax thing working for you. Man, we gonna help you keep your coin. We got nightclubs, we got nightlife, we got things to do, we got top golf, we got bars, we got a whole bunch of different activities, arcades, all this stuff for you and your people. And you can hoop in front of all these fans. And the traffic's good. Like you have those situations, then you have it like a different situation where it's like, yeah, man, all the fans are gonna love you. Everybody's gonna appreciate you. They're always gonna recognize you when you go to the store. I mean, maybe you don't like getting mobbed and like ask for pictures and stuff, so maybe that might not be great. But everybody's gonna appreciate you, love you for everything that you do. And there's not very too many crazy spots. We got a couple wing spots, we got a couple arcades. We might have like a mini theme park. We don't have Carowinds or Disney World or anything like that, but we got some stuff out here, and it's like it's not as tempting. And then like the brand deals are also a big thing because brands want to know how much if we put your name on our product, how much does it give us what's it called? How much leverage does that give us in a business sense? You put LeBron James got that Sprite cranberry thing every single Christmas. The answer is clear. You want a Sprite cranberry? That whole thing, he does it every single time. But that's like it sells because it's LeBron freaking James, you know? Whereas shout out, side note, sorry. Still in the same vein, but a little bit different. Kyrie's I think it's Anta. He has his new shoes with Anta. I'm about to cop me a pair. Them things low-key tough. Shout out to Nike for going ahead and cutting that deal. And now if I look up these Anta shoes and they cost like 150, just like the Nike ones did, I'm gonna be pissed. But I'm finna cop me some of these new Kyrie sneakers. I forget what they're called. They're like the K ones or something. But yeah, just marketability, and a lot of small market teams don't really have that same ability that those places do. You know, just one of those things. Where we at? We said Oh yeah, man. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. What Zach said, you already know. For the Jazz is gonna be in the drafts. You don't need to tank. Because some players who are sneaky good are later in the draft. Yeah, that is fair. Trade deadline today, tomorrow, 1 p.m. or 1 p.m. Um, what time was it? 1 p.m. I forget where it is, but it's tomorrow early afternoon, basically. Jazz need to trade some of these picks for stars. Got to see something. Got to find a star that doesn't care about where he is. Maybe that's why I love Luca so much, bro. I want Luke. I would love to have Luca. Is he a little bit dominant? A little bit too dominant? Could we get a player like a De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton? We're like, yeah, they have like a chill ego, but they're a really great player. I would love to have that. They're both really cerebral. They can both control the floor, like that sort of thing. Those are star players that you want to get. If you try and gun for like a Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, like those type of guys, it makes it harder because they have more preferences and requirements to make them happy. Whereas De'Aaron Fox be balling. He didn't even make the All-Star team, which is crazy to me. But neither here nor there. Balls out regardless, right? Just guys with that type of mentality. Tyrese Halliburton, had a little bit of an injury bug for a minute there. Still was balling out, double type numbers, point guard type numbers. Like guys like that with their type of maturities, energy, and like just mental headspace, those are the type of guys you want on your squad. Those are the type of guys you want to pay money to and try and convince to stay with your small market team, right? If we're gonna call a spade, if the Hornets don't give Melo as much money as they give him, he's not staying there. There's no reason for him to. And the only reason it would be is like to get a significant amount of money and to have no expectations for what he does. He can do what he wants on the court, and people are still gonna come to the games because they want to see LaMelo Ball play, right? Now Brandon Miller's there, and like once the expectation is for them to win, they'll have the same scary Terry Rozier experience where Terry Rozier was like, in Charlotte, losing was just part of the DNA. It was like it was in our DNA. It was just something that happened. But with Miami, everybody hates losing. The expectation is to win. So when you lose, everybody's mad. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody wants something. Everybody's hungry. Like that sort of thing. When you get to that stage, it's different. And they just teams like the Hornets haven't got there yet. Question: where are we? I wonder if we got Murray. Imagine Murray done defense. That would actually be like very stifling. Somebody's getting put in handcuffs and sent to prison. Basically, that's what it sounded like to me. Jazz should have. Imagine Sexton throws a lob to Murray. Murray dunks the lob on somebody. You know how crazy the feedback between the two of them would be? It would be absolute mayhem. Just absolute mayhem. I can't even express it because they have very similar person. It's not the exact same type of energy, but it's very close. And when things get hot and their teammates are going crazy, or they're going, Lord forbid, they're going crazy, they're gonna let you know. And if you have two of them on the same page and they're both feeling that's twins for real. That'd be crazy. But yes, that Dunn and Murray on defense, that's prison. Put Walker Kessler there. Imagine fighting for your life to get back Chris Dunn. The help defense is DeJounte Murray. And then you get past all that and Walker Kessler's waiting for you at the rim. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. Basically. Taylor Hendrickson help defense. Give me a great defensive team. If we could get DeJounte Murray, would be Murray, Dunn, Ochai, Hendricks, Walker. Or if you don't want to go Ochai, let's say we go Lowry, right? More length. Nasty. Get hungry just thinking about it. We said, what you said, Monty? Jazz should have had Mitchell and Booker if they didn't screw up the draft. I can live without Booker. Oh, I get what you're saying. Both of them alongside each other. That would be interesting. Josh Giddey, Cason Wallace, Davis Bertans, and 5 first-round picks for Larry Markin and Kelly Olynyk. Yes or no? No. because that means for the next 12 years we're gonna have to deal with them. I don't want to have to keep dealing with the Thunder. It's bad enough we're gonna have to keep seeing them. I refuse to help the Thunder out because they're gonna be our opponents in the West for a very long time. Right? We're like a year and a half behind them. So that means we're gonna have by the time they're done with us, we're gonna have what 2 years left of our of elite play of contender status to get our chips. I'm not trying to be fighting for our lives that long. I'm not helping them out at all. I refuse ever. Give the Nets what they want for Bridges. Bridges would be tough too. Jazz are looking for Bruce Brown. What does he bring the Jazz we don't already have on the roster? Shooting numbers don't look that good. So he's a decent shooter. He's not a great shooter, like he's not a dead eye, but he's a decent shooter. He's a pretty good defender. He makes money on defense. Now he's not getting paid or held to a certain level or standard of expectation just because of who he is and what things are looking like, which is fine. Some people over or undervalue him just based on what they require for their team and what kind of niche he fills. He can shoot well. Is he the same as Fontecchio? No, he's not going to be able to hit you 39% of your threes, but he'll be probably a fringe, very similar defender as Fontecchio, which I'm content with. I can live with that. I would appreciate that. But also we haven't put in a actual offer for him, so it looks like things are looking kind of bleak as far as he is concerned. But I would welcome him. And the answer is clear. What beautiful pipes you have. I appreciate you, Flair. So, well, the Jazz keep saying they want to contend quickly and they refuse to tank, so they better be trading for the superstar. They got to do something. Yeah. Lowry to Cavs? No, he's not going back. No, Mitchell, though. He's not. No. Jazz drafted Stockton, Malone, and Mitchell mid-lottery. Hopefully they can do it again. We just need one. That's the thing. They're one away. We just need one. Can we take the DeLorean back in 1996 and kidnap Byron Russell and bring him to the current Jazz team? Raptors have Jazz 2024 pick from Thunder and Siakam trade. Either way, if that pick rerouted to Raptors, then the Jazz will ask for it. Why do you own a Batum jersey? Okay, so Popeye the Pimp. I'm going to put you on real quick. Y'all going to hate this. I'm already knowing. If I asked you who your favorite player was, you're going to tell me a big name player. My favorite player of all time, I'm a very big LeBron fan. I'm actually a LeBron over MJ guy because of his style of basketball. I'm a big style of basketball kind of guy. I'm a make the right decision regardless of how I feel kind of guy. So I'm not really a big heroics guy. I appreciate MJ's game. I appreciate Kobe's game. But I've always been the way I play the game is more similar to a LeBron James than it is to it's really closer to like a Klay Thompson-ish kind of guy than a MJ. That said, I grew up outside of Charlotte for the most part, and I have a Nick Batum jersey because I have his signature and my favorite player of all time signature on it. My favorite player of all time is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Yeah. For reference, my favorite memory of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist would actually be the week where the Charlotte, we were still the Bobcats at this point, I believe. We played the Heat and we played the Knicks in the same week. He got to see prime LeBron James and prime Carmelo Anthony in a 3-day span, and they both hit their career highs on him. They both gave him 62 and 63. And I still loved him. Still a great player to me. It was terrible. It was ugly. And growing up a Hornets fan is I would not wish that on my worst enemy. The only thing worse than that is probably being a Pistons fan, because I'm pretty sure, well, the Pistons made the playoffs that one year as the 8th seed, I think, with Drummond. So maybe they're equally as bad, but the only thing probably worse than being a Charlotte Hornets fan is probably being a Pistons fan. But that was from my Charlotte Hornets loving days. I can't do it anymore. MJ made me hate the Hornets. I tried falling back in love with them, but it's not in my bag anymore. I don't know if I have that in me. But yeah, it's from back in those days. Yep. But yes, that's why I have a Batum jersey. Say getting a star with a mid lottery pick or late first round pick or second round pick would be neat, but you're paying Lowry the max. You can't count on that. You have to be aggressive trading for a star. Fair, fair. I can respect that. Think the Jazz should go for Wiggins? No. I don't know what Wiggins' problem is. If I knew what Wiggins' problem was, I would be more willing to say, yes, the Jazz should trade for Wiggins. But because we have no idea what's going on with Wiggins and why he's the fall off of Wiggins needs to be studied, right? Like people joke and say that, but I'm so serious because I don't understand how a guy so skilled and so capable just falls off the face of the earth and goes from, being capable of giving you 20, 25, sometimes even 30 points in a game to giving you at best like 15, 18, 10. He's just not the same guy, and I don't know what it is. He said, I want DeJounte Murray so bad. It would be fun. It would be fun, Jackson. What does Walker do on offense, though? Right now, Walker is effectively run and dunk man. Slides to the corner. They don't respect his jumper. He also doesn't shoot the jumper from the corner. So he just slides down at the rim and catches lobs. Typically in Kelly Olynyk situations, he's the best at getting him those opportunities. Jordan Clarkson has shown his prowess at times as well, which is big. So that has been a big positive for everybody involved, honestly. He said, but he does need to expand his game. He needs to be able to shoot free throws, right? Can't shoot 48% if you're only getting 2 a game. We need those, every one of them. Ship Olynyk, THC, and 2 first. Throw in another player if needed. We have some first to spend. Funny you say it about the Thunder. They want Kelly. Irony. The irony. We need to get Olynyk out of here before the deadline ends. Any team in the league would want a player like Olynyk. TBH, he's a great team player. Yep. Like 8-1? Yeah. Warriors, Celtics, Sixers, Heat, etc. I would be comfortable sending him to the Eastern Conference. I don't want to see him in the West. If we trade him, I don't want to have to see him in the playoffs at any point. It would not be very fun. What's up? Saw the Italian Stallion got traded. Made me sad. Yeah, man. Yeah, Chris, we've been going through it a little bit. Shoot 66%. MKG. Yep. Mm-hmm. My best case scenario for the deadline is some trade construction where the Thunder get Olynyk and the Jazz get their 2024 pick back. I'm not even that high on our 2024 pick, though. To be quite honest. Being a Bulls fan has to be horrendous right now. Oh, yeah. Being a Bulls fan might be actually like bottom worst things to experience in life right now. That's still decent, though. They used up all their luck on MJ. Controversial for me, MJ overhyped, who hasn't done anything since his Bulls team broke up and was impossible without players around him. I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Think there's a lot of problems behind the scenes of the Warriors. I could see that. Like as soon as Draymond felt comfortable punching Jordan Poole across the face, right? That's when things really took a turn for the worse. Like things were not great, but they objectively like he fast tracked. He said, "How can I make a suck speedrun edition?" And looked it up on YouTube and then did exactly what it said. And that's exactly what he did. Like Draymond being addicted to assaulting players and teammates. Yep. Speaking shall be. And Clay thinking he's still that guy has hurt them too. He openly understands though, like nowadays in particular. And it sucks because I used to hate the Warriors, dude. I used to hate the Warriors. But Klay Thompson was the one guy that I always respected because he plays such a good game. He plays solid defense. He shoots catch and shoot threes. He runs around. He's never stops moving. He sets screens, sets back screens, backdoor cuts, all that stuff, swings the ball, plays the game the best way any system player possibly could. And just to see him reach this sort of fall off is really sad because I don't out of everybody that deserves a potential end like this, not him, not Clay. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. He said, "Nah, Green wrote the book. People shouldn't be on the Wizards." Oh, the Wizards are so dysfunctional. Hey, we are fine as of now. Feel bad, Clay for sure, and it's a good thing he's realigning his situation now. Yeah, Steph is open by playing in Charlotte. I'm just saying, Wraith. Hey, I wouldn't be mad if Steph came to Charlotte. Might catch a couple games. He might make them actually win games, right? Because no way Steph's coming over here to lose. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We're gonna blow out the Jazz now. Nope. Can't do it, Flair. Sorry, can't do it. You're not allowed to. I'm taking away your rights like we did to women back in the day. You have none. They're gone now. They're mine. I have procured your rights. Is that crazy to say? That's not crazy, is it? There it is. You said our 2024 pick back would be awesome outcome in my opinion. It's less to do with any player we could get in the draft and more about the control of our pick in 2025, 2026 back. Okay. I can see what you're saying. Flair cancel. I'm uncancelable, Flair. My fan base isn't big enough. There's no way. Little old me. I'm poor. I've been in and out, so I'm sure you mentioned it. That pick we got today is currently the 32nd in the draft. So basically, late first if we're good at drafting. Clay, as I said, needs to be to accept becoming a role player, and now a more Kyle Korver said it before. Still stand by it now. Fair play. Jordan did push off too. Not Lee jumping in too. 2024 draft is pretty weak. I just don't want OKC to have it because it makes me annoyed at how good they become so quickly. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Questions to the Knicks. Dominico. Yep, that's what they're saying. They saying they would be interested in that one. Take away. I'll take every one of the people here. Kyle Korver role makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Kyle Korver did it first. JJ Redick was solid at it too. Don't forget about JJ now. It was an absolute beautiful rebuild. It was a masterclass, to be quite honest. Sam Presti did some things. He did some things I was not expecting. Also, you guys seen the video of Stockton crossing over MJ? Yeah, Jackson. What if we give him the pick next year or the next? Hey, it's all over the place. Things are very interesting. All things across the board considered. But it's only a matter of time either way you look at it. Only a matter of time. What is this? Oh, this is from 5 hours ago. No interesting trades. Woj hasn't broke. No Woj bomb yet. Shams, you got anything interesting for me? No. Monte Morris for Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and 1 second-round pick. Interesting stuff right there. Not that it matters. If I don't get that pick back, I want it to convey this year. I don't want to owe it. Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. I wanted us to be a playing team specifically so it would convey this weaker draft class pick instead of next year's, because next year is supposed to be a better year. Like both the 25 and 26 years are supposed to be deeper, like even from not just from like, top 10 picks who's available, but like top 32, top 50. Like the draft just has a lot more depth and a lot more expectations for certain players, for who they could potentially be in the future. So I'd rather give the weakest one, if any of them, honestly. He said, I was waiting for you to get on live. LOL, are you streaming tomorrow? Yeah, we got a game tomorrow? Or no, we don't have a game tomorrow. What am I talking about? Wait. Maybe I'm tripping. Am I struggling? Okay, yeah, tomorrow. We play the Suns tomorrow night. Yeah. Yep, yes, sir. We'll be live for that. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. This draft is Omega. There's between 10 and 32 is really not big. But now Clay's definition of a McQueen versus Jackson Storm meme. I'm weak. OKC, Justin L for taking ours, and everybody else's dang picks. Imagine a Woj bomb around 2 a.m. Eastern. Oh, I would get it. My phone would go off. Every one of the Warriors passing him like they aren't even going to use them. And we all know it. They should give it back. Want the Jazz to take multiple years so the pick never conveys. Did the Jazz trade away Fontecchio? Yeah. Yep. Yes, Skyler. They traded away Fontecchio. He's now with the Pistons. Thing about the drafts is 2014 was a weak draft, and it had Giannis. That is true. Yes, we have a game tomorrow night. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We want 25 and 26 picks available to trade the option anyway. Also, we don't want obligation hurting the double swap in 2026. Yeah. Thanks, Mario. How long are we going tonight? Really, I was running out of stuff to say. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was really just feeding out of the chat, and it's already like 10 p.m. my time now. We've been up for a little over 2 hours now. Actually, we got a lot of watch time off this. Goodness, and we've consistently had 50 of us up in here. You know, it's really a W stream. Kevin Knox got to go. I'm interested to see what they decide to do with him. Honestly, I see Olynyk, THT going away in a package, but I don't know for who or how high their value is. But if we do trade Clarkson with them, how far can that value be? I'd say it's pretty decent. It really just depends because we remember with the new CBA deal, you have to take in just as much or within a certain margin of the same money that you're sending out, and that's going to be a big thing as far as just matching contracts up. That's going to be something to keep an eye on alongside which teams would want each specific player because each team has different needs and necessities. Hope the Jazz hit the Suns like a blind dog loose in a meat shop, taking bites of everything. That is the most hilarious analogy I've ever heard. I would think we just waiting to tank for Cam Boozer. We unified and feel so good. I'll be mad at it. How much are we getting paid for this stream? Man, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. This stream might make $1. Go Sports, Hoodie Mellow. Type. Nah, but realistically, like that stream where my most viewed stream has made 41 cents. So yeah. Outside of like what'd you call it? Really outside of donations, my streams don't make too much, to be quite honest. Which is fine. It's still cool though. Heading out, see y'all around. Appreciate you, Logic. As always, my guy. Oh yeah, I owe Logic a video. Like 1,000%, I owe him a video. High key. Hope the stream gets you since I've been so I might go after this. You think they'll keep Colin Sexton? I think so. I do think so. 41-6. Hey, big. Hey, we'll take it. I'm just outside of Charlotte. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to take a plane. I'm planning on coming to Utah either that first week because with the way my job's set up, there's a break that first week of March, and then like the 15th or 16th through the 19th ish. There's a break. I'm thinking about coming to the 16th and the 19th one because we play Timberwolves, and if I come early, I can catch that Hawks game too, which would be kind of spicy. All things considered, but we'll see. Do Hornets fans exist? We're a dying breed. I met some Indian guys, and they were arguing, yo, when Terry Rozier got traded, and they saw we got Big Booty Lowry, they were sick. They were sick. They were shouting up a storm. Let me tell you. But it was good. Man, I don't even know the places to eat out there, Monty. Y'all got to tell me. Y'all got to tell me what's good to eat out there. I want us to make the playoffs so bad. Oh, we will. We will. My expectation is that we make the playoffs. It was at the beginning of the season. I thought we were going to be a 6 seed. You know, we started out the season rough. But even now, I'm sticking to my guns. I still got my hands on my holsters. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing on business. I want to be the only analyst that believed in the Jazz. That's what I want to be. When everybody else thought that the Jazz were going to sell, I was the one that said, nah, they got it. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want. I think Kelly Olynyk and Ochai are being discussed in trade for Bruce Brown. I do not love it. No, I don't either. I can understand it, but in that situation, that means Taylor Hendricks is being front loaded to get the job done now. Like he's getting thrown to the front of the line. He said, "No Warriors stealing it." I'd be happy with the play-in to BH. I expect playing is the worst it goes, right? Playing is the worst it goes. Just for the game, we could make something shake. We can make something shake. Um, we can Jazz trade Lowry tomorrow, and Wraith has to backtrack his predictions. I'll cry myself to sleep. I'll be sick to my stomach. 2 games if you're a 9 or a 10 seed. Do you think we can try and get a superstar on the team tomorrow? It's possible. I don't know how likely it is or who we would even gun for, superstar wise. That is. Tony Jones said the Jazz will not make an offer for Bruce Brown. Yeah. Have not made an offer. Any trade involving Ochai, I hate. Ochai believer. I respect it. I am not mad. I am not mad. But yeah, man. Nothing too interesting has been popping off in the news from what I'm seeing right now, which is fine, which is fine. We're gonna keep our eyes peeled, keep looking on the horizon, trying to make sure we can be productive and successful. Would you trade for Kaminga now? No. I respect Kaminga's game a lot more now than I did before, but probably still no. I would leave him to his own design. I wouldn't get in anybody's way about that one. About predictions that Klay Thompson is getting traded tomorrow. Don't know where though. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. As much as people say they think he's going to get traded, I don't think people actually think he's going to get traded. So yeah, that's a hot one. Yeah. Ochai was untouchable this time last year. Remember that? That's true. Would you trade for? Let's see. I wanted to see Ochai in a Cavs jersey before the Mitchell trade happened. I'm not even mad at that. Just want Taylor Hendricks to play. I think he's going to be a difference maker on defense. Correct. Jaden McDaniels, correct. Maybe even a little bit better. But yes, I'm with you. Hendricks season, it's right around the corner. Brandon Miller to the Jazz. I'll let him stay with the team that loses all the time. He's leaving in free agency. Klay will rot in Golden State is crazy. But there's a lot of interesting things that could potentially happen going forward as we near these final hours of the trade deadline. We'll find a way to make everything make sense. What do you say? He's our corpse. Klay should just retire. I don't want to. I want to see Klay have like one more really good year, man. One more really good year. Curry did put up a stinker tonight. Michael Bridges is my dream pickup tomorrow. In that instance, I'll allow for Ochai involvement. I would. That might be the only way. I would say just go ahead and give up on Ochai if you can get Michael Bridges because he's there already. Do the Bulls run it back again? Probably. Unfortunately, they probably will. Who's the next superstar to want out? We gonna find out. Ochai THT Knox and 3 firsts for Michael. I want Klay to go win a championship with another team. I do love how people roasted Klay so hard and now they feel bad. Shake my head. Yeah. People were going too hard. They act like Klay was a bad person. Like Klay is really one of the most humble, just respectable, silly. Like he's just one of the boys. And people were like cooking him. I'm like, bro, Clay ain't never said nothing gangster in his life. He ain't never said nothing too crazy about anybody. Trae Young will want out by 2025. It's getting there. It's getting there. Clay, great player, great career. Don't ruin the legacy. Just retire. He needs one more solid year. I would not hate that at all. Yeah, I can't hate that. Or Butler. Butler not going nowhere. I don't know how. Oh, I don't know how Michael would fit on our team personally. If Michael Bridges was traded to our team, it would likely push Chris Dunn to the bench, which would boost our playmaking on the bench and also our defense. That said, Colin Sexton will be allowed to run point guard as he sees fit. Granted, he would have to be the table setter, so as long as he stays doing what he's been doing the past 20 games, he'll be fine. He won't have to be fearful on defense because he can press and play as much as he wants to because Michael Bridges will always have his follow up, just like Chris Dunn does. But Michael Bridges is obviously taller and longer. But that second unit would be the biggest benefit because then you would have Chris Dunn as your point of attack defender, helping Keontae George become a better defender, become a better playmaker and table setter for other guys, and then also have Walker Kessler still protecting the rim. So it would lighten it would lighten the burden on Walker Kessler and help and fast track Keontae's development, in my opinion. Where to the Would you trade for Trae if you were at Jazz? No, because that would mean likely I would have to send Colin Sexton in exchange for him, because I can't have two short scoring guards in the backcourt, right? Not in this situation, at least. I don't think it will work. And Trae is one of the only players in the league that's a bigger liability on defense than Colin Sexton is. Colin Sexton's a liability literally because of his height and his length. With Trae, it's just a little bit different, and he doesn't have the size to even remotely compete. He just gets moved very easily. I always envisioned Jaylen Brown, but I don't want the contract anymore. Oh yeah, that $300 million is insane. I think Michael next to Lowry is the most lethal 3-and-D with Walker from court in the NBA. That'd be tough. Also, Curry had a good game. He just didn't need to do much and didn't play a lot. Oh, okay. Blocking shots, stealing balls, ripping threes, true versatility. Not much to lack as long as the guard, Keontae, can pass the rock and the shooting guard can play positional defense and hit shots when needed. I just think the Nets will move, Mike. I don't think they'll. I mean, I'd say that's probably 50-50 too because they don't have to, right? The Nets are objectively directionless, but they still don't have to trade anybody. Even though they could, they don't have to. But yeah, man, that's where we're at now. You know. That's how it's shaking. Dang, the video's only been out for 3 hours and it's already at 1,300 views. That's the most we've ever seen in 3 hours, guys. That's really good. Huh. Must be a good video. Maybe Flair had the lucky touch. Or maybe we just jumped on the trend at the right time. Either way, we needed this one. This is a W, boys. This is a W. We said what? Nets have nothing going with like 3 firsts or whatever it was for KD. They need assets bad. Yeah. Oh, see? I told you, Flair. Yeah. Don't get stuck like Orlando or New York was for a decade. Tony Jones also said the Jazz aren't in on the Murray discussions. Wait, so did they rescinded their offer? Or they didn't, or is it saying they didn't adjust it after they made the trade for DeJounte for Fontecchio, that Fontecchio trade? does pop off. Not gonna lie, it's definitely different from what my normal theme is. That's for sure. Now said, who do you think they will give us for Jordan Clarkson if he gets traded? Um, what team? What team, Dallin? He said they haven't. No, they made an offer. They made an offer yesterday. They were only the second team to make an official offer. At least, what was that analyst's name? One of the Jazz insiders said it. Oh, we're getting conflicting information now. This is not good. I don't know. Well, either way, there's some deal coming. I don't know what it is, but some deal's coming. Jazz fans were on YouTube looking for someone to talk about today's trade. You jumped on it early and beat everyone else to the punch. That helps a lot. That's probably fair. I make the arrows bigger next time, Flair. New York Knicks. Yeah, it's conflicting. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'm just ready to react to whatever trade ends up coming next, honestly. And we'll go with it as it goes. If there's no major trade tomorrow, I'm still gonna make a video. I don't know what about, but you know. Well, I do know. I'll just make a video talking about how things are looking. The only rumor Tony Jones hasn't denied is the Mikal Bridges one. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see how everything plays out, gentlemen. It's only a matter of time. Zach, what you smile like that for? Rubs hands. Boy, stop. How you gonna dislike a video where I'm discussing the trade for Fontecchio? How does that make sense? You act like I traded the man. Some people are interesting. What do you mean say less? Say less what? What did I say? What did I say or what did somebody else say? Oh, my other Walker Kessler video is finally catching a little bit more entertainment after 400 million years. People are weird, yeah. Never criticize an artist. I'm the best thumbnail creator ever. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Flair did do it in like 12 minutes. Shout out Flair, man. Yeah, because this was a big one. I couldn't be out here doing nothing. I'm just now seeing the trade the Jazz made. Yeah, they up in there. They up in there though. I like this challenge. Thumbs make thumbnails. Tomorrow's thumbnail is gonna say, "What are they cooking?" What are they cooking is gonna be the title across the top. Was it a good trade? Ultimately, I think it will be. I think it will be. I think it was. I think it was a good trade. I didn't love it because of the player I didn't want to give up Fontecchio of all people first, but I think long term, whatever Danny's planning on doing, it's going to make sense for us to have done it. So I'm not going to argue against it. You smell what Danny's cooking. Hey, we're having fun, man. We're having fun. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had to start making these just face cam videos because I was not making enough money off my videos AdSense to cover the fees I was paying to Sachi, and I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but my first main channel video should drop Friday. It should drop Friday. Yeah. Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you do, Lee. I'll see you, brother. Vanilla Danny Ainge with a chef hat. It's time for me to sign off. I'll catch you tomorrow. We'll find out if the Jazz decided to trade. Have a good night. Yes, sir. Oh, it looks like it's that time, gentlemen. It looks like it's about that time. Flair, I didn't even see how much the video made yet, man. Hold on, man. Let's see what we got. I'm not gonna lie. If this video sits there and my RPM ends up being like $4.60 per 1,000 views, I might actually cry, because we were really on the trend today. So I feel like this might be the one, or one of the ones rather. This might be a really good one for us, but I don't know though. We'll see though. Pew pew. Cavs need to trade for my coverages. I want all of them. He said, "Give me the money your accountant's screwed with." Man, look, nah. I need that federal tax return to hit my account. I need that thing to backhand me with $3,000. Have a good night. Gotta go to bed. I'll see you, Dallin. I mean, we can go ahead and get ready to close this one down. We're coming in on 2.5 hours, anyways. We got like 50 hours of watch time out of this. That's good numbers. Did anybody see any ads? I might have had ads off today. I wasn't paying attention. Either way, today it was a W stream today. No ads. Yeah, I figured. All right, W stream. Oh, you actually had a few? Interesting. Dream about my Warriors blowing out the Jazz. Yeah, you do that, Flair. You do that, brother. But yeah. He said, "Oh, it's gonna happen." Nah, silly goose. No. Ads at the start. Okay, fair. I was just wondering. Hey, the goal is to make more than 50 cents from this stream. This is our best stream yet, so we might see more than that. You know. But anyways, with that being said, if all minds and hearts are clear, I appreciate you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, tuning into today's stream. If this is your first time checking out the channel, hope you enjoyed your stay. Hope we made you feel at home. Hope you chatted with us. Subscribe, like the video, so more people hear about it. Tell a family member about it. Tell somebody else that likes the Jazz that you know about it. Donations are welcome. Becoming a member to support the channel and catch the videos faster than anybody else is welcome. Appreciate y'all spending time today, catching up on the content, helping me boost what I've got going on here. We're in the infancy stages, but we're taking it to the moon. And with that being said, as always, thanks for tuning in this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Become a member to catch the videos faster than anybody else. It's been your boy Wraith Hoops on this live stream. And good morning, good evening, good night, no matter where you're on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.